Oh, yeah! We're live! And there's nobody watching. Well, actually, that's a lie. Danielle beat me to the punch. Danielle, you beat me to the punch. You beat me to the punch. I was going to say we're live and there's nobody watching. Why is that? But you beat me to the punch. If there's anyone that was going to beat me to the punch, it was going to be you. It was going to be you. But anyway, we're live. Danielle's watching. Damn it! How did you beat me to the punch? I'm pretty sure we'll have plenty of more shit to talk about throughout the course of the show. Do not call me short shit. Do not call me short shit, I swear to God. You better be liking the stream now. There's 4 people watching. Hey, Peanuts! Peanuts! AKA David. Hey, there's 5 people watching. I need you guys to hit the thumbs up when you come in. Hit that thumbs up when you come in. And we're going to share it out. We're going to share the stream out on all platforms, social media. We're going to share out the stream to a couple people. And then we're going to get this party started. So, no, you're not going to be dabbing this entire stream. I'm only going to check the chat after a certain point. Hey! Alan Holland! It's been a while, brother. How have you been? How have you been? I'm just sharing out the stream, and then we're going to start. Sharing out the stream, then we're going to start. Going to be a good one. It's going to be a good time. The theme for SmackDown, of course, is Are You Ready for a Good Time? But you never have a good time when watching SmackDown. But you're always going to have a good time when you're with DJ Storms. I feel you, man. I just finished college myself, so I'm starting to get into the swing of things, the post-semester life. I'm going to be doing a lot of brand work, a lot of brand promotion, the self-brand promotion, the advertisements. We got a lot of good stuff coming this month. I actually just uploaded a video yesterday. If you missed it, please go check that out. Danielle, stop dabbing. It's unbelievable. All you do is, Danielle. I'm not looking. I'm not going to look at it. Not looking. I'm not looking. Swear to God. We're sharing it out to a few people and then we'll get started. I'm not looking. No, I am not. No. 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 We're just sharing it out. Sharing out to a couple more people and then we'll get started. Okay. Thank you very much, Danielle. Hey, Dave Maniscalco, please hit that like button. Why is there like 4 or 5 people watching and only 3 thumbs up? See, that's a problem. That is a problem. Hit the thumbs up. Hit that thumbs up. We are almost ready to start. Let me see Danielle, make sure that she shared it out. Ooh, she did. She did. Thank you very much. Don't steal my intro now. Don't steal my intro. All right, now then, I think it's about time that we start. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm the one and only DJ Storms, and I would like to welcome each and every single one of you back here to the channel on YouTube.com. As of course, you already know who I am, Mr. Controversy, and the operator of the best damn Twitter handle known. Wait for it. Wait for it. To mankind, this is the official Lightning Flash update for Saturday, December 5th, 2020. We got NXT TakeOver War Games tomorrow, and we got a lot of material to talk about. Hey, here's my boy Leo. What is going on, Leo? Thank you very much for jumping in the chat. If you haven't already done so, yes, all is great, my friend. Please hit that like button. Please share the stream out. Share. We got a lot of material to talk about today. We got a lot of material concerning Bruce Prichard, as you can see by the thumbnail and by the title of the video. We got a lot of material concerning TLC and certain matches confirmed for TLC, as well as plans for Jey Uso. We got a lot of material to talk about here, and we are going to get straight into it. I'll be doing a lot of ranting. Thank you very much, Leo. Thank you very much for sharing out the stream. We are doing a lot of material concerning the status of the weekly WWE programming. So I'm going to be doing a lot of ranting. I'm going to be doing a lot of analytical dissection as well, not just ranting. So trust me on this. Trust me on this. We'll be doing a lot of chit-chat. We'll be doing a lot of chit-chat today in the stream. We're going to be going 2.5, 3 hours as per usual, so strap in for the ride. Strap in for the ride. But first things first, before we get into the news, rumors, and reports here on the LFU, of course. Follow me on the Twitter sticks. Danielle beat me to the punch again. The Twitter sticks. Follow me at Historymaker DJS. You'll find out why I am the operator of the best damn Twitter handle known to mankind. Follow me on Instagram and Periscope at the DJ Storms. Add me on Facebook for collaborations and business inquiries. Please send me an email. My email is, of course, StormsTakeOver@gmail.com. Like the official DJ Storms business page, and I may just send you an invite to join the official DJ Storms Posse group on Facebook. That is, I will place all the links in the description after the stream is over. If you guys missed the rundown for NXT TakeOver War Games 4, which of course is streaming live on the WWE Network tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, me and Matt Moody, we were dissecting everything NXT TakeOver War Games related. He did awesome. It was actually his second appearance on the channel, his second appearance ever. He actually has a YouTube channel in the works. So if you guys are into wrestling analytics, please keep an eye out for Matt Moody's new channel coming very, very soon. He did awesome. I will place the link in the description after the stream is over. So here we go. More people are sharing it out. So people know what's up. Matt Moody and I, we did an excellent job on the rundown for TakeOver War Games. That's actually doing really, really well. That's actually doing a lot better. That's actually doing a lot better than the original rundown that me and Matt Moody did for NXT. And I'm actually quite surprised considering how lackluster the NXT product really is. So please check that out. I will place all the links in the description. If you guys haven't already done so, I don't know what you're doing. Matter of fact, it is a sin how there's only 5 people in here, how there's only 8 thumbs up. We need to fix that. So when you come into the stream, you gotta hit the thumbs up because I'm trying to grow and expand and get into the eyes of many, 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 many other people. So you need to hit the thumbs up when you come in. And when you do that, I need you all to share out the stream on all platforms of social media, whether it be Twitter, whether it be Instagram, whether it be Facebook, whether it be Tumblr, whether it be Pinterest. No matter what social media platform you have, share it out because I'm trying to expand. We got to get as many people in here as possible. I want to make this a great stream right here, but I need you guys to do your part. Share out the stream, like the stream. Try and get at least 30 likes. 30 likes is the goal here for the Lightning Flash update over the course of the next 3 hours. I think we can do it. You think we can do it? I think we can do it. So I need you to share. I need you to get on the sharing. Share it on all platforms, social media. Of course, when you do that, you got to keep the chat rolling, keep the chat alive, talk amongst yourselves, talk amongst me. What's going on, Cool King 89707? How you doing? Please hit that thumbs up. Of course, when you keep the chat rolling, you got to make sure you hit that subscribe button. And when you hit the subscribe button, you got to make sure you hit that notifications bell with a huge coup de grace. That way you will know whenever I pop up on YouTube. Because whenever I pop up on YouTube, it is the best time to be on YouTube. It's the only time you're going to get to see this glorious sideburn chin strap combination, this beautiful mustache right here. Hold on. Do I have it? Of course I have it. Everybody wants a piece of the Stormsmeister. What's going on, Adam? What's going on, Danielle? What's going on, Cool King? Please share out the stream on all platforms of social media. Keep the chat rolling. Keep the chat alive. We have a lot. Yeah, damn right. You damn right, man. You damn right. We got a lot to talk about right here. So, strap in. Strap in, ladies and gentlemen. It is going to be a ride. Anyway, enough of these self-brand promotion and the advertisements. We are going to get straight into the news, rumors, and reports here. And we are starting off with a report from Dave Meltzer. According to Dave Meltzer, by way of Cage Side Seats, it was stated that Braun Strowman has suffered a legitimate knee injury, and it is not likely that he will be getting a WWE title opportunity on December 20th at WWE TLC. Now, I do not wish injury upon anyone. I don't think anyone with a brain would wish injury upon anyone. I don't wish injury upon Braun Strowman. I wouldn't wish injury upon Elias or Lana, Nia Jax, nobody. I wouldn't wish injury upon my worst enemy. However, I think we can all collectively take an exhale of relief because Braun Strowman is not going to be on a pay-per-view. Braun Strowman is not going to be in a major world title match on a pay-per-view, especially after he went through 5 months as the Universal Champion and he had one of the worst Universal Championship reigns, undoubtedly the worst championship reign of the entire year. I take Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax's women's tag team title reign over Braun Strowman's Universal Championship reign. I actually did hear that, Adam. I did hear that, Adam. I'm actually surprised that they turned it down. Although I wouldn't even have wanted to see a cinematic match between Sting and The Undertaker. I would have been okay with them just staying apart and just retiring. But Braun Strowman, he is not competing for the WWE title at TLC, so we will not be seeing the Strowman Express. We will not be seeing the Strowman Express take over and run around the ring in circles, tackling Drew McIntyre. Thankfully. Thankfully. We don't need to see a... I wish the Strowman Express would fall off the tracks, off of a cliff, into the ocean. And it looks like that's exactly what happened. Looks like that's exactly what happened. The Strowman Express fell off the rails. And the Strowman Express is out of commission. For how long? I don't know. The longer, the better. So Braun Strowman is not competing for the WWE title at TLC, thank Christ. Instead, we are getting AJ Styles and Drew McIntyre, which of course will be the better match. Speaking of TLC, according to a report from Ringside News, there are 4 matches that have been set backstage for TLC, and a lot of these matches were actually confirmed by WWE in the last 48 hours. So if you have not been paying attention, you would have not seen that WWE actually tweeted out a couple of matches confirmed for TLC, including Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt, and Lana and Asuka versus Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens was also confirmed as of SmackDown last night. However, one match that is still not confirmed, and if I'm to be quite honest with you, I don't even think that this match is even taking place. It's Daniel Bryan versus Jey Uso. Now, Bryan did mention that he does want a rubber match with Jey Uso, since Jey Uso won one and he won one. So, if we do get a match between the two, I would expect it to be in a chairs match. However, based on what happened last night, and the fact that Daniel Bryan pinned Sami Zayn in that six-man tag in tribute to Pat Patterson, I really cannot see Daniel Bryan facing Jey Uso. It looks like they are booking Daniel Bryan versus Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental title, which I really wouldn't mind. It looks like Jey Uso's going to take a break. He's not going to be on the card. But to be quite honest with you, I would much rather take Daniel Bryan versus Jey Uso, considering that really enhances the storyline between Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns. I don't really understand why they are having Jey Uso attack Daniel Bryan and having Jey Uso and Daniel Bryan face off on SmackDown if you're not going to end up resulting in a pay-per-view match and ultimately resulting in a match between Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns. Ultimately, Jey Uso is a bridge to get to Roman Reigns. That's pretty much what they've been portraying Jey Uso as. They did it with McIntyre, they did it with Owens, and now they really should do it with Bryan. So I wouldn't mind seeing Bryan and Jey Uso at TLC. At least that tells a better story, and that does give you a little teaser into the future of hopefully a potential Universal Championship title match between Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania, which I would love to see, and a lot of people in the community would actually love to see. Take your time, Danielle. Don't worry about it. Take your time. So, Daniel Bryan versus Sami Zayn, ultimately that will be a great match. No one's going to deny that, but if we're going to be realistic here, I don't want to see Daniel Bryan used as an interim opponent just to get Sami Zayn through TLC. If you wanted to do an interim opponent, you could do Big E, considering that Big E right now, the main project for 2021, I would assume, would be Big E. And Big E, you could have Big E face Sami Zayn in a ladder match, and you could have Big E ultimately lose to Sami Zayn in a ladder match, but he won't be pinned and he won't be submitted. So that way his momentum won't technically be halted, if you know what I mean. And then you could bring Big E into 2021 and build him up for SummerSlam and a match against Roman Reigns. But Daniel Bryan versus Jey Uso would be the perfect match for TLC to bridge Bryan into the Rumble, to win the Rumble, and face off against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 37. Will they do that? I don't know. But I hope they do. But it looks like they're going with Daniel Bryan versus Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental title. According to a report from WrestlingNews.co, listen to this, there actually is some big plans in store for Jey Uso in the future. So the site wrote, and I quote, "One source told us that although Roman Reigns is the top priority for this storyline, the idea is to also elevate Jimmy and Jey Uso, and the subtle changes are meant to give them a rougher edge. This week, Michael Cole referenced Jey as main event Uso. The story is meant to elevate Roman, but also bring Jimmy and Jey up to the next level as well," a WWE source told us several weeks ago. Vince McMahon is fully on board with everything, and the story is said to be mapped out months in advance. On a related note, Uso has been given a lot of praise from wrestlers and people in management for the excellent work he's done during this storyline. End quote. Now, I actually expected this. I'm not even going to be bullshitting you here. I actually expected this because I actually called, now that Jey is paired with Roman, I actually called Jimmy to come back in a little bit, and he'll be partnering up with Jey and Roman as well. And at WrestleMania, the end game for the Usos would be the Usos versus the Street Profits for the SmackDown Live Tag Team titles. And then we can get the Usos walking out of WrestleMania with the SmackDown Tag Team titles, and Roman Reigns walking out of WrestleMania with the Universal Championship. So ultimately right there, you get a Samoan dynasty, a Samoan tyrannical takeover going into the summer of 2021, which could ultimately result in them losing their titles at SummerSlam, possibly Big E in there, maybe Rey and Dominic Mysterio, I don't know. But this is actually expected. And I actually have no problem with this. I'm actually happy that this is taking place. I would love to see Jimmy and Jey Uso get that rougher edge, get that push to the next level, and they could walk out of WrestleMania with titles as well. So I would love to see that. I would absolutely love to see that. I got a report from WrestleVotes. They provided an update on the status of fans being able to attend the Royal Rumble event. They tweeted out earlier this week, and I quote, "Internally, WWE is said to want a decision on whether fans are permitted for the Royal Rumble by January 7th, with a possible announcement of sorts coming that weekend. Source states odds are 50-50 right now. Important month ahead." End quote. So, I'm going to throw this out right now. This is on the same level as the Thunderdome reports that we've been seeing from WrestleVotes. Ultimately, this report will be brushed off by many people, mainly because of the fact that when it comes to the WWE, it really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether they have virtual fans, whether they have real-life fans, or whether they have no fans at all. The majority of the community don't care about that because ultimately the creative is still the same. The shows remain the same. There's no difference between the shows in the PC or the shows in the Amway Center with the virtual fan base. I wouldn't give a shit. I wouldn't give a shit if they were operating in the backyard right now. I wouldn't give a shit if they were operating in the backyard right now. All I would care about is that we get a decent show. All I care about is that we get great storylines, great feuds, great matches, and a great overall wrestling show. And for the majority of the year, the WWE overall, Raw, SmackDown, and NXT has not been able to do that. NXT has been a little bit better, but they're better by default because obviously Raw and SmackDown are just so bad. But ultimately, the overall WWE product just has no buzz around it. They have no hype around it, specifically because of the shit booking that's been going on. So I don't give a shit. I really don't give a shit whether there's fans at the Royal Rumble, whether there's no fans at the Royal Rumble. All I care about is that you give me a good show with great storylines, great feuds, great wrestling, and the right outcomes. That's all that I care about. And to be quite honest with you, I don't think anyone would really give a shit whether there's fans at the show or not. You take a look at what NXT UK has been doing. NXT UK has literally been operating with no one. Not even the Thunderdome, not even a Capitol Wrestling Center. Yeah, they've had a few people on the screen watching NXT UK. They had a few people here and there. But ultimately, they're wrestling in dead silence. And they've been putting on some great shows. Shows that are better than Raw, SmackDown, and NXT as a whole. So I don't think anyone would care. All I care about is good wrestling. I don't care if they got fans or not. And to be quite honest with you, whether they have fans or not, it's not going to change anything. But that's an update on fans. It's 50-50 at the moment. With the vaccine coming out and shipments being shipped out by the 15th, I'm assuming that that will have a good effect on whether fans are allowed at the Rumble or not. It's got some allergies. Now then, the moment that you've all been waiting for, based on the title of the video, listen to this. Oh, and there'll be a lot of ranting on this subject. I don't know why I put so much emphasis on that. PW Insider stated that there is a lot of frustration and heat with Bruce Prichard being expressed privately among the talent. So, if I was to give you an analogy on this report is equivalent to saying the grass is green, the sky is blue, water is wet, and snow is white, except when a dog pisses in it. That's pretty much the equivalent analogy to this report. No shit! No shit, people are frustrated with Bruce Prichard. All you don't need a report. No one needs a report. You don't need a report from PW Insider. You don't need a report from WrestlingNews.co. You don't need a report from Dave Meltzer or Brian Alvarez or Sean Ross Sapp. Hey, Sean. You don't need a report from Brad Shepard. You don't need a report from anybody. All you need to do is watch the shows. You cannot tell me from watching the shows, you don't need a single report from anyone. You cannot tell me just by watching the shows, you can't tell me that there isn't at least 1, 2, 3, 4, at least a handful of people that are frustrated with how Bruce Prichard is operating Raw and SmackDown. All you need to do is look at what's going on. Look at Kevin Owens. Look at Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens was used sporadically throughout 2019. Kevin Owens was put in multiple world title matches. Kevin Owens was put into a feud with Shane McMahon. He won his feud with Shane McMahon. He was put into a feud with Rollins, and then after his feud with Rollins ended, what did they do with him? They did nothing with him. They had him in a pre-show match against Buddy Murphy at the Horror Show at Extreme Rules, and that was the only pay-per-view between WrestleMania and Survivor Series that he even competed at. He wasn't on SummerSlam. He did not have a big match at Clash of Champions. He was not on Hell in a Cell, and now he's only starting to be used correctly, and now he's in a world title program with Roman Reigns, which more likely than not he's going to lose, but at least he's in a big title program. Now, this is the first time this year since his feud with Seth Rollins that he's actually starting to be used in a prominent role. Kevin Owens, of course, he's frustrated. He went into a fucking nothing feud with Aleister Black. Look at Aleister Black. And Aleister Black, I don't know why. I just decided to pop on NXT TakeOver War Games 2 from 2018, and I was rewatching Aleister Black versus Johnny Gargano. That match went 18-19 minutes. That match was better than anything that Aleister Black has done on the main roster in his entire 2-year tenure. You take a look at what Aleister Black has been through on the main roster. The man literally beat everyone, and he's received no title opportunities. Then they gave him an eye patch. They had him go into a nonsensical feud with Kevin Owens, and they had him lose. And he hasn't been on television for 2 months, and they fired his wife. Look at Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan. Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan, they reunited over the summer. They were given a women's tag team title opportunity, and they have not been used in any way, shape, or form since that women's tag team title opportunity outside of Survivor Series. What about Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan? You're telling me that they're not frustrated? What about Asuka? What about Asuka? And don't even give me the excuse, oh, Asuka looks happy. Asuka is doing all of this shit. She's dancing and she's having fun because at this rate, she just doesn't give a fuck. Asuka is doing what she needs to do to survive. Asuka is doing what she needs to do to make money. But you can't tell me that Asuka has not been frustrated. Think about what Asuka's been through this year. Ever since Asuka won the Raw Women's Championship, there has been no challenger for Asuka that has been credible. Think about if you're Asuka You're facing women like Nia Jax, Zelina Vega, Lana. Outside of Sasha Banks, Asuka hasn't had one fucking credible challenger, and they're just biding their time until Charlotte Flair comes back. Look at Ricochet. Look at Ricochet. Ricochet, how is it that Ricochet, for a solid year, he was booked like a fucking superstar? He had a great fucking match with Velveteen Dream, great match with Adam Cole, he was in a War Games, match of the year candidate with Johnny Gargano, match of the year candidate with Aleister Black and the War Raiders. He gets called up, he wins the United States title, he holds it for 3 weeks, and after his feud with AJ Styles, they do nothing. They do nothing to continue his momentum, and they completely fucking buried him. What about Mustafa Ali? What about Mustafa Ali? Mustafa Ali. Think about Mustafa Ali. He's off for the first 7 months of 2020. He was in the back for the first 7 months of 2020. And what happens? They bring him back. They have him job out to Bobby Lashley in 90 seconds. Then they pair him with Retribution. And they have him lose their first 4 matches, completely killing all of their credibility. As if anyone takes Retribution seriously now. What about Keith Lee? What about Keith Lee? Keith Lee, on top of the world this year. Think about where Keith Lee was at the beginning of the year. He put on so many great fucking matches with Dijakovic, Damian Priest, Johnny Gargano, Cameron Grimes. And what happened? He was called up to the main roster after Vince McMahon fast-tracked Karrion Kross to the NXT Championship. And Karrion Kross got injured. Keith Lee was called up to the main roster with no plans whatsoever. I guarantee you at least one of those people that I named are frustrated with Bruce Prichard. It does not take a genius to figure this out. All you need to do is watch the show. You can't tell me, you cannot watch that show and tell me, oh yeah, no one's frustrated with Bruce Prichard. You cannot tell me. And if you do, you are an absolute fucking moron. So after this report from PW Insider, WrestlingNews.co followed up with this report, stating that they heard from wrestlers frustrated with their lack of TV time. Unfortunately, so many people on the main roster are employed that they're not going to find time for everyone, which is bullshit. That is bullshit. That is absolute bullshit. That excuse is one of the lamest excuses that I think I have ever heard. Oh yeah, there's so many people employed by the main roster. Oh yeah, they're not going to find time for everyone. Bullshit. Bullshit. If I am the CEO of a company, and I'm not talking about just a wrestling company, I'm talking about any company in the world. If I'm the CEO of a company, I'm not even talking about just a wrestling company. If I'm the CEO of a company and I have a plethora of employees at my disposal, I am going to do everything in my power to find something of importance for every single one of those employees to do. Why? Because that's my fucking job. I'm the CEO of a company. I am to assign people jobs. I am to assign people important tasks to do to make them money. If not, number one, why am I even the CEO of the company? And two, why do I even have them signed to a contract? If you cannot find something for every single person on your roster to do, either get rid of them or give them to somebody else in your company. Give them to a lower tier member, to a second in command member to find out what they can assign for them. Not enough time for everyone. Bullshit! It's a 3-hour fucking show on Monday and it's a 2-hour show on Friday. You can't find something for every single member of your roster to do? You should not be the CEO if you can't find a vital role for everyone on your roster. There should be nobody, absolutely nobody, that has nothing to do. There should be no one that has nothing to do. Everyone should have a vital role on television. If you can't find something for them to do, either give them to someone else in your administration so they can find something to do with them, or release them of their contract. So, WrestlingNews.co continued by saying, some of the frustration is with Prichard, but others have privately expressed frustration with the company in general for hiring so many people just to stack their roster. Now that is actually a very intelligent response. That I agree with. That makes more sense. And WWE has been doing that for a long, long time now. WWE has been signing people just to stack their roster because they don't want any other promotion, no matter what promotion it is. They don't want any other fucking promotion on the face of the planet to succeed. They want to own everything. They want to make sure that they have the rights to everything. They want to own Evolve. They want to own ICW. They want to own AEW. They want to own Impact. They want to own everything. WWE needs to get rid of this fucking monopolization mentality and realize that no matter what happens, no matter how many companies that they hire, the wrestling industry is never going to succeed without other promotions. No one's going to drive them out of business. I understand that you want to be the juggernaut, but at this point in time, you're only causing damage to your own company by doing this shit. You're only causing damage to the entire wrestling industry by doing this shit. You take a look at Tony Khan, he actually wants other promotions to succeed. That's why he is partnering with Impact and NWA. He could partner with New Japan. I don't fucking understand. I really don't. I don't fucking understand the mentality of this fucking company. If you are not going to find something of substance for every single member of the roster to do, then release them of their contract. Enough of the monopolization mentality. Enough of the, oh, we gotta own everything. I don't want any other promotion to succeed. Enough! Enough. It's ridiculous. Those are your news, rumors, and reports. Let's check the chat before we move into the weekly show reviews. Danielle, I can't even keep track of how many times Danielle's dabbing. Matt Moody, how you doing? Please hit that thumbs up. Please hit that thumbs up, Mr. Matt Moody. When you come in, you gotta hit the thumbs up. It is vital that you hit the thumbs up. If you have not hit the thumbs up, I'm going to be very disappointed with you, especially since I plugged you. I plugged you earlier before you got here. There we go. We got 10 thumbs up. 10 thumbs up is still not enough. 10 thumbs up is still not enough. You see, we need to get to at least 30 thumbs up. What's going on? Kevin Fiola. Thank you very much. We got a 12 thumbs up. Look at that. Kevin Fiola's here. How you doing? How you doing, my friend? How you doing? Joe Fo in the ring. I had a feeling you would show up. How you doing? How you doing, Joe Fo? You actually just missed a huge rant. You missed a huge rant on Bruce Prichard and how they are not using talent. And I'm actually going to head into the Raw review in a little bit, so you actually came at the right time. We got a lot of weekly show material to talk about right here. Danielle's happy to see Joe Fo, as is Cool King. We got 12 thumbs up. That's very, very, very nice, but we need to get to 30. So here's what I need you to do. If you guys haven't already done so, please share the stream out. Share the stream out on all platforms of social media. It is vital, vital, vital that we get as many people in here as possible. So we are going to head into the Raw review. So Danielle, you can keep dabbing for Cool King. You can keep dabbing for Cool King. I'm doing good. I'm doing good, Kevin Fiola. Thank you very much. He really is senile. I really don't need to explain. I really don't need to explain anymore there. I think I've wasted enough breath on that. I'm pretty sure I'll be ranting a lot more because we're talking about Raw next. But I'm going to check the chat after the Raw review. We will check the chat after the Raw review, so keep the chat alive. We're going to go into the Raw review, and I'm telling you, this was nothing more than the same old stereotypical, boring Monday Night Raw that we are oh so accustomed to seeing. Danielle, I'm not dabbing, I'm talking about Raw. So, Raw kicked off with a moment of bliss. We had Bliss sitting in a child chair, like one of those childish chairs that you see in kindergarten, and she was sitting Indian style in the child chair. She was acting very giddy, a very childish intro. My favorite superstar is Randy Orton. So Orton came out, she said, someone is in a foul mood. You're telling me I was in a foul mood. I was in a foul mood because I had to take 5 pages of notes for Monday Night Raw. She said, I wouldn't be in if... I can't speak today. I wouldn't be in a phenomenal mood if this happened to me last week. So they replayed what happened last week with Orton and Styles. Orton was obviously agitated. Bliss says, have you ever asked why? Have you ever said, Self, why would he do that to me? Orton says, well, I haven't been formally introduced to The Fiend yet. The Fiend, he wears his pain and suffering on his exterior, whereas I keep mine bottled up inside. So that way I can blend in. He says that the voices that the Fiend hears in his head are his voices. He says he found Wyatt's vulnerability and burnt it to the ground. Now all I have to do is find the Fiend's vulnerability, and it looks like I have. So he was looking at Alexa Bliss, and Alexa Bliss stood up, and she said, is that what the voices in your head are telling you, or are they telling you lies? Ask yourself this, who's manipulating who? So the lights start to go out. Orton says, you see what I mean? And Bliss says, you see what I mean? So the lights go out, the lights come back on, and the Fiend is in the ring, crawling on all fours. Orton is holding Alexa Bliss in his hand. And the Fiend stretches his hands out. He's like, please give me Bliss. Please give me Bliss. So Orton hands Bliss to the Fiend, and he slides out of Dodge. And that was that. That was that, and Orton starts backing up the ramp, screaming at the Fiend, who's laughing now? This opener wasn't terrible. The opener wasn't terrible. I've seen plenty of openers much worse. It really wasn't anything special, nothing groundbreaking, but it really wasn't that terrible. I didn't hate this segment, and I'm not saying that the Moment of Bliss segment is a good segment, because it's not. I'm not saying that the Moment of Bliss segment should stay on WWE television. Matter of fact, I'm just waiting for these WWE superstar-themed talk shows to die. But this wasn't bad. This wasn't terrible. So, the one thing that I'm thinking about here, and it's the same thing as last week, decent opener, really nothing too special and nothing groundbreaking, but I'm trying to wrap my head around the fact that if this was the feud that you were going to do for Randy Orton after Survivor Series, why did he even win the WWE Championship? If you were going to have Drew McIntyre go forth and face Roman, and you were going to have Drew McIntyre go forth and face AJ Styles after the Survivor Series pay-per-view event, then why did you even give Randy Orton the WWE Championship to begin with? I don't understand. Randy Orton should have never been in the plans to win the WWE Championship because the feud with Edge does not need the fucking championship. Randy Orton is a made man. Randy Orton should have been there to put Drew McIntyre over, and after Hell in a Cell, that should have been it. And Drew McIntyre should have gone forth into Survivor Series, still the WWE Champion, and he should have gone off and did his thing with Roman Reigns, and then he could have done his thing with AJ Styles at TLC. I don't understand why they gave Randy Orton the WWE title to begin with if this was ultimately the end game for Randy Orton after Survivor Series. You realize how much damage it did to not only Orton, but to Drew McIntyre as well? And on top of that, it's not like the match at TLC is going to be anything special. if it was a cinematic match, maybe if they did a cinematic match in the Firefly Funhouse, maybe it would be a little bit more intriguing. Maybe it would be a little bit more entertaining. Maybe I would be okay with it. But if we're talking about a one-on-one match in the ring, look at everything that they've done with The Fiend. The Fiend right now is at its lowest point that it's ever been. The character is at its lowest point that it's ever been because The Fiend, and if you take a look at the landscape of wrestling, you look at the most poorly booked character, and you will see The Fiend. The Fiend has been the most poorly booked character throughout the entire year. The fact that they did this guy such a disservice by putting him in scenarios where he is just looking human, and on top of that, they paired him with some of the worst wrestlers employed by the company, The Miz, Braun Strowman, Goldberg. How is anyone supposed to get behind The Fiend? Just based off of the track record. You take a look at the track record. Let's say, hypothetically speaking, that the shitty match at WrestleMania 33 never happened. Let's say that never happened. Why would anyone be excited about this match and this feud based on the track record of The Fiend this year alone? The Fiend has only had 3 good matches in his entire run. 2 with Daniel Bryan and the 1 with Kevin Owens. Outside of those 3 matches, every single match that The Fiend has been in has been jack shit. And it's not even his fault. It's not even his fault. So I don't understand why anyone would be excited just based off of the track record with The Fiend alone. The Fiend has been absolutely killed. No matter what you think, no matter what you want to spin, no matter what words, no matter what garbage you want to spew out of your fucking mouth, The Fiend is dead. And based off of the track record, he is never going to recover. Without Alexa Bliss, The Fiend would be an absolute afterthought. The Fiend would be an afterthought. You take a look at every single match that The Fiend has had this year. Shit match with Goldberg. Shit match with Strowman. Shit match at Payback. And how poorly that match was booked between The Fiend, Roman, and Strowman. Terrible. Terrible. Shitty matches with Seth Rollins. Shit match with The Miz. What more can I say? Just based off of the track record with The Fiend. Just based off of that entire track record with The Fiend, why would anyone be excited? And if you are excited, I think you may be mentally handicapped. I really do. I think you may be mentally challenged. You may be mentally challenged. So, that was the opening segment. That was the opening segment to Monday Night Raw. That was the opening segment to Monday Night Raw. We then went into Jeff Hardy versus Elias in a Symphony of Destruction match. So they went right after each other. R-Truth was in the grand piano. And then everyone that was chasing R-Truth started coming out to chase R-Truth. Lindsay got hit with the fucking guitar. Drew Gulak, who played the gobbledygooker at Survivor Series, he got back body dropped by Jeff Hardy. So coming back from commercial, Hardy with an atomic drop and a low drop kick combo. Hardy was sent headfirst into a chair. That got a 2 count for Elias. Elias then put guitar picks between his fingers and then started punching Jeff Hardy. There was no blood, of course, because WWE, everyone's a fucking pussy. We run a publicly traded company, so we can't have blood. Elias then hit Hardy with the guitar as Hardy went for the Whisper in the Wind. He hit Hardy right in his tailbone. That got a 2 count. Elias then took a piece of a broken guitar and he stabbed an amplifier. And he got quote-unquote electrocuted. Hardy then placed Elias on top of a table. He placed Elias on top of a table. Then he put like ukuleles and little guitars on Elias. And then he did a swanton bomb off of the LED post through the table to Elias. Hardy and his head, the steel steps were still there. His head hit the back of the steel steps. Thankfully, he's okay, but that could have gone so wrong. I don't understand what's going on. And you know what? what that is a product of? That is a product of Bruce Prichard and Vince McMahon rewriting the fucking show 2 hours before the show every single fucking week. Because you miss certain things like that. And it really does go to show you that they don't even give a shit about the health of their employees. That was a stupid, stupid, stupid call. Thankfully, Jeff Hardy's okay. Sean Ross Sapp, he did report that Jeff Hardy was okay. So that was the Symphony of Destruction match. I hope to God that that is the end of the feud. Get Jeff Hardy away. Get Jeff Hardy away from the fucking Elias feud. Elias is a fucking moron. Get him away from the feud. And let this be the end of it. Let's get Jeff Hardy in a more important storyline. Let's get Jeff Hardy in a storyline where he's actually putting over a young talent and actually fighting against someone like a Bobby Lashley or a Matt Riddle or a Keith Lee. That would actually be a fairly interesting matchup. So Mustafa Ali was in the back with Retribution. He was in the back with Disgrace and Applejack, Kangaroo Jack, Recoiling, and T-Balls, who blocked me, by the way. If you did not see, T-Balls, apparently T-Balls didn't like what I was saying about him. T-Balls. Good old T-Balls. T-Balls blocked me. So I have Dan Hawson blocked me. Seth Rollins blocked me. T-Balls blocked me. Sean Ross Sapp and Ryan Satin, those two pussies blocked me. I guess T-Balls, he's been watching the stream. You see, I tell you every single week, people are watching. Ladies and gentlemen, people are watching. T-Balls blocked me. If he only knew that I was on his side. So, T-Balls was there as well. Mustafa Ali says, promises made to us were turned into lies. Oh yeah, just like every single person on the main roster. Promises turned into lies. Just like you, dreams turned into nightmares. You should be standing with us. He was talking to Ricochet. Slapjack then talked. Slapjack, Slapnuts, Slapdick, Applejack, Jack Black, Kangaroo Jack. He said, everyone saw me as a joke, but Ali saw me as a weapon for retribution. Ali said, Slapjack will make you see the consequences, and hopefully you'll see what I see. Mustafa Ali. Imagine being Mustafa Ali and trying to sell someone on a guy named Slapjack. Which, by the way, if you look up Slapjack in the Urban Dictionary, that's all you need to know. That's all you need to know. Slapjack. Mustafa Ali trying to act like it's an intimidating name. My weapon of destruction, Slapjack. Slapjack. So Slapjack, Applejack, Kangaroo Jack, Jack Black, Jack Nuts took on Ricochet. So Jack Off hit a cannonball in the corner for a 2. Ricochet came back with a dropkick and a flying forearm. We had a springboard clothesline and a standing shooting star by Ricochet. The other members of Retribution came out. Ricochet with a Fosbury flop taking out all the members of Retribution. We then had Dana Brooke coming out, and she slapped Ali, obviously, after what happened between Reckoning and Dana Brooke a couple weeks ago. That actually made sense. So I actually was like, oh, wow, storyline continuation. So Disgrace got taken out, and T-Balls got taken out with a Enziguri from Ricochet. Ali caused the distraction, and then we had Jack Off hitting a Sidewinder suplex. And Jack Off gets the win over Ricochet in 3 minutes. And that was that. no matter how good Shane Thorne is as a professional wrestler, and no matter if he got the win, if you think that anyone's going to take this guy seriously when he's wearing a Jason mask and he has the name Slapjack, I think that a couple of wires up here ain't connected properly. He got the win over Ricochet. Ricochet, I hope to God he's gone. I swear to God, there was a person that was reported a couple of months ago that was said to be frustrated and he wasn't re-signing. I hope to God it's Ricochet. So, Jack Off got the win over Ricochet. Again, no one's going to take this guy seriously. He's in a Jason mask and his name is Slapjack. No one's going to take him seriously. And it doesn't matter whether or not Retribution is on a winning streak, or they were on a winning streak up until later on in the night when Reckoning took on Dana Brooke. They're dead. Retribution's dead. No one cares about him. And didn't they say they were going to take down the system and make everyone in management pay? Really? So, what does Ricochet have to do with management? Ricochet has been wronged by management. And you're worried about Ricochet, yet you think that by fighting Ricochet that's going to get the attention of the system? So Jack Off got the win over Ricochet. We then had Miz TV with Miz and Morrison. WWE themed talk shows need to die. I will continue to say that. So they introduced Sheamus. They introduced big old Sheamus. He came out with the top hat and the suspenders. So they introduced Sheamus. Miz said he wanted to talk about Drew McIntyre. Miz tried to tell Sheamus that Drew is disrespectful. They said that Sheamus is jealous of the fact that Drew is the WWE champion. Miz and Morrison acting like juvenile fucking delinquents. Cringeworthy as shit. Sheamus says that the Miz has a good sense of humor. Miz says, you were at the top. Now your best friend is there. You were WWE champion for what? 2 months? If you want to laugh at something, laugh at your career because it's a joke. When WWE has the Miz go out there, when the Miz does that, I'm thinking to myself, how is it that they fucked him up? How is it that you had something great in the Miz in 2016, feuding with Dolph Ziggler. Then he was feuding with Daniel Bryan in 2018, doing some of the best work of his career. And you look at him now, and the Miz and Morrison, they've been a fucking bad comedy act the entire fucking year. They've been one of the most uncredible people that this year has seen. And now you have the Miz acting like a serious individual and saying, laugh at your career because it's a joke. And I'm thinking to myself, why wasn't this the Miz that we were seeing all year? So Sheamus got up. He stood up and he says, you like to use your mouth. I like to use my hands. So he back-fisted Morrison and we got a brawl, which resulted in Sheamus getting hit with a Money in the Bank briefcase, and Miz and Morrison stood tall. I didn't give a shit about this segment. The only thing that I was paying attention to was the fact that Drew McIntyre did not come out to save Sheamus, so that could potentially play into a storyline which results in Sheamus turning on Drew McIntyre, and Sheamus and Drew fighting for the WWE title at the Royal Rumble event this year. We got Asuka and Lana versus Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. We get this match again. Number one, why wasn't this for the titles? I'd much rather have this match on Raw than have it at TLC, which, by the way, it was confirmed for TLC. And why do we need to have Shayna Baszler take 2 pinfall losses back-to-back? I don't understand. So we had both Asuka and Baszler going at it. We had Nia and Baszler then swinging Lana and Asuka powerbomb position into the barricade simultaneously. Shayna then with a wicked back elbow. Oh, excuse me, Nia with a wicked back elbow. Nia with a wicked back elbow. It looked like she legitimately gave Lana a fucking concussion. And let me tell you something. I fucking hate Lana. Lana's a waste of fucking space. Lana is the embodiment of a worthless wrestler. Lana's the embodiment of a waste of space, but I don't want to see her hurt. I really don't want to see her hurt. Get Nia out of the ring. So Lana tagged herself in after Asuka had a bit of flurry. Lana with a shitty looking crossbody. It looked like she was legitimately scared to do it. Shows you how much of a piss poor wrestler Lana really is. Baszler reversed the crossbody. She had a Karafuda clutch. Nia was taken out. Asuka with a Shining Wizard, and Lana pinned Baszler for the win. Absolutely fucking disgusting right here. Lana pinning Baszler is like Marco Stunt pinning Brock Lesnar. It is one of the most unbelievable things that you could possibly see. I really don't have any words. I really don't. I'm legitimately running out of words to describe how fucking disgusting this really is. WWE has gone from, oh yeah, let's take our anger out on Lana by putting her through the announce table to, oh, you know what? Now, let's make Lana a big star and let's make Lana a women's champion. Let's make Lana a women's champion and shove it in the face of Miro. I mean, if you have any support for this whatsoever, you do not deserve to open your fucking mouth about professional wrestling. You are a detriment to the community, you are a detriment to society, and you are a detriment to the whole world as a whole. And listen to this. Should Lana and Asuka win at TLC, listen to this. Should Lana and Asuka win at TLC, Lana will become a women's champion. No matter how worthless the women's tag team titles are, it's still a fucking championship. It's still a fucking championship under the WWE banner. If Lana and Asuka win at TLC, Lana would become a women's champion before Shotzi Blackheart, Candice LeRae, Dakota Kai, Tegan Nox, Liv Morgan, Ruby Riott, and Bianca Belair. That fact in itself, that possibility in itself is absolutely fucking inexcusable. Absolutely inexcusable. There is no fucking reason why Lana should even be anywhere near a wrestling ring, let alone a championship. And whether you want to admit it or not, the only reason why Lana is still employed with the company is because she looks like a porn star. And no, that's not sexist. That is an actual, factual statement. I don't know why I just did a fucking rhyme right there, but it is a factual statement. WWE bases who they hire and who they push on looks. That's the whole reason why Karrion Kross was pushed to the NXT title so early, because Vince McMahon looked at him and he drooled. He had an erection. That's the whole reason why Roman Reigns was pushed as the guy from 2015 to 2018. That's the whole reason why he won the Royal Rumble. It doesn't matter how many people were ahead of him in terms of wrestling ability, in terms of promo ability. Roman Reigns was pushed as the guy, as the face of the company from 2015 to 2018 because he was a 6'4", 250-pound muscle man. Both men and women in the WWE get ahead based on their looks. Vince McMahon, if he does not like you based on your looks, then you will not succeed. That is the whole reason why Lana still has a contract, because she looks like a porn star. Cedric Alexander took on Xavier Woods. So, Kofi and Woods, they bragged about Woods being the host of G4. They ran back their victory against the Hurt Business last week. The Hurt Business came out. I think Xavier Woods said, where are the other teams? So even Xavier Woods knows that the tag team division sucks. So MVP said you clowns need a wake-up call. MVP says they are 2-2. So we get another match. Those titles are coming to us. Cedric said it was pure dumb luck that allowed you to pin Shelton. He took his cheap shot at Xavier before the bell, so we get the match. Decent little match right here. Nothing special. Nothing you're going to go back and rewatch. Decent little TV match right here. So Cedric tried to cut down Woods. Woods came back with a discus elbow. Woods with a guillotine slide and the honor roll for a 2. Cedric reversed the powerbomb into a beautiful Cedric's brainbuster is fucking beautiful. It really is. So Woods reversed the suicide dive. Cedric was sent into the barricade. Looked brutal. Cedric then hit the lumbar check for the win. And then afterwards, he walked up the ramp celebrating while MVP and Shelton Benjamin were confused in the ring. So I don't know what that is leading to, but I hope it's not leading to the Hurt Business breaking up, because we don't fucking need that. So then we get Keith Lee versus Matt Riddle versus AJ Styles. Sudden death triple threat match. I don't understand why this wasn't the main event of the show. So this was undoubtedly the only thing worth watching on the show. This was a very good, very good triple threat match right here. So Lee with a huge back body drop to Styles. Styles looked like he was like 10 feet in the air. We had Riddle with a final flash to Styles and a springboard floating bro to Lee and Styles on the outside. Riddle was on a roll before Styles booted Riddle out of the air as he went for the Broton. Styles was whipped into the post by Keith Lee. Keith Lee with a corner avalanche and a couple of Beals to Matt Riddle. So we had a big pounce to Riddle by Lee. We had an enziguri and a flying forearm by Styles. Big crossbody by Styles for a 2 on Lee. He got tossed into Riddle. We had Keith Lee and Riddle going back and forth. We had a couple of strikes back and forth between Lee and Riddle. AJ got German suplexed. He went to the apron. Riddle got the better in the striking match with Keith Lee. And we had Matt Riddle taking out Lee. And then Matt Riddle just looked up at the lights as Styles went for the phenomenal forearm. Riddle looked stupid. And Styles hit the phenomenal forearm. And Styles gets the win. And Styles is moving on to TLC to face Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship. Very good triple threat match right here. And Styles was the correct winner. That made sense because Styles, he's been undefeated since he's come over to Monday Night Raw. He's beaten Matt Riddle. He's beaten Jeff Hardy. He's beaten Kevin Owens at Survivor Series. He's beaten Jeff Hardy and Seth Rollins in that triple threat match on draft night. He's been winning matches. So you can't really shit on that. I can't shit on that because it makes sense. And it was the only good thing on the show. So Dana Brooke took on Reckoning, recoiling. Reckoning's mask came flying off. So we already knew it was Mia Yim, but man, this was fucking embarrassing. This was really fucking embarrassing. Obviously, we know it was Mia Yim, but they were still calling her Reckoning, but we knew it was Mia Yim. So the announcers looked dumb. I mean, we already knew it was Reckoning before. We already knew it was Mia Yim before the mask even came off, but now the announcers look dumb as shit. So Dana Brooke was distracted by Ali, but Brooke ended up rolling up Reckoning for the win. Reckoning lost in her debut. Yeah. So much for that winning streak for Retribution. So much for that winning streak. The funny part about this is Ali was screaming at Retribution, or Reckoning. Who the fuck cares? Ali was screaming at Mia Yim, aka Reckoning. He said, "There's no failure in Retribution." I was legitimately belly laughing at that. I'm like, Ali, I love you. Ali, you're one of my favorite superstars since 205 Live, but Retribution has been the embodiment of failure since their debut. You look up failure in the dictionary and you will see Retribution. Please, don't make me laugh, Ollie. That was probably a Bruce Prichard line. So, Matt Riddle and MVP, they got into a conversation backstage. This resulted in Bobby Lashley attacking Riddle and then laying him out on the floor. So, that could very well result in Bobby Lashley versus Matt Riddle at TLC, which I would not mind. Matter of fact, I would give Matt Riddle the United States title. So, Drew McIntyre, he was interviewed. He says, sometimes you gotta get knocked on your ass to find out what you're made of. Drew McIntyre is a man of his word. He said Roman's confidence turned into confusion and fear when he kicked out of spear after spear. Another unintentional rhyme. Eminem, eat your heart out. He said Uso and Roman won the battle, but Drew said that he will win the war when we fight again. Now we look to TLC. Drew said that the briefcase is the only thing keeping The Miz relevant, and if The Miz gets involved, he'll have to fold up Morrison, put him in the briefcase, and shove that briefcase where the sun don't shine. And that was that. Pretty standard interview here from Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre is an excellent babyface. He's excellent on the microphone, but the fact that he lost the WWE title and then he won it back, I can't look at Drew McIntyre the same because they already fucking killed his momentum. I just can't. So after that we get Drew McIntyre and Sheamus versus The Miz and Morrison. So we have a match here, and I barely paid attention to it. I barely fucking paid attention to this match. I don't know what the fuck they were going for. I don't even know why this match was even the main event. I don't even know why they even had this match to fucking begin with. So, I barely paid attention to this match. Morrison tossed Sheamus into the barricade, and Sheamus was sent over the barricade. Styles was at ringside. He came in with a phenomenal forearm, and he was like, attack him, and then you can cash in. So, The Miz, like a dumbass, was like, no, you don't cash it in, I cash it in. It was like I was watching kindergarten individuals argue back and forth. No, I'll cash it in when I want. No, cash it in right now. Cash it in right now. Look, he's down. So Morrison hit Starship Pain, and then we had a skull-crushing finale. And Miz, like a dumbass, wasted so much time, and he was gonna cash in. Miz was hesitant, but he was eventually like, okay, now I'm cashing in. Drew McIntyre took out Morrison and then hit a Claymore to The Miz. And then almost, his associate, Styles' associate, held him back. I still don't even know why Styles has this fucking associate. I still don't even know why Almas is paired with AJ Styles. He's been paired with AJ Styles for 2 fucking months. 2 fucking months. And we still have not gotten an answer as to why they are paired together. They're just there. I didn't give a shit about this tag team match. The match at TLC between Styles and Drew should be great. But I just can't bring myself to care. Raw is absolutely the worst fucking show that I think I've ever seen as a professional wrestling fan. And truth be told, if it wasn't for everyone here laughing every single time I ranted about Monday Night Raw, then I would legitimately just cut out the Raw review. It would save me so much fucking time. It would save me 35, 40 minutes, and I would just legitimately not review it. If you guys didn't like me flailing my arms and screaming and yelling, if you guys didn't laugh at the fact that I get so pissed off at Monday Night Raw, I would legitimately just cut it out. If it didn't get me views, I'd cut it out. So that was Raw. Completely fucking terrible. Completely fucking terrible show. I didn't care. So We had AEW Dark. And I love what AEW Dark has been doing. I think that AEW is an excellent show. I think I would format AEW Dark a little bit more differently, though. Specifically because of the fact that, number one, there's just too many fucking matches. Too many fucking matches on AEW Dark. There's no reason to have 15, 16 matches. There's no reason for AEW Dark to go longer than Dynamite. Cut AEW Dark in half. AEW Dark should be half of the length of Dynamite. AEW Dark should be 5, 6, 7 matches at most. If you want to have 1 or 2 enhancement matches and then like 3 or 4 competitive matches, I wouldn't mind that. Excuse me. Let's check the chat. Before we move to AEW Dark. Kevin Fiola asks, when is Drew gonna main event a show? I don't fucking know, dude. Danielle's still dabbing. Don't encourage Danielle to dab, because she's going to dab at least 70 more fucking times throughout the course of the stream. Cool King, Jeff got his neck fucked up. Yep, he did. Cool King, T-Balls blocks everyone who disagrees with him. Tell me about it. Retribution is become the joke of Raw, says Jofo. Dude, Raw in itself is a joke. Adam calls T-Balls T-Bitch. That's great. Big boy Johnny's in the building. Thank you very much for joining. Danielle, stop dabbing. Adam says Lana Del Rey is worth more being the women's tag team champion than Asuka and Lana. Great. Hopefully NXT TakeOver is good. I expect it to be good. I expect it to be a good show. TakeOver 31 and Halloween Havoc were good shows. When NXT usually has the big shows, usually they are very good shows. Allergies suck. They really do. So, AEW Dark started off with KTB versus Shawn Spears. Scorpio Sky came out during the match. He was carrying the steel slug. He sat on the ramp. Spears actually won with the Scorpion Deathlock. So, KTB tapped out, and then afterwards, Sky and Spears had a stare down. We had a TKO on KTB, and he walks away. So, obviously, that feud is not over. We are looking at another match between Spears and Sky, which I would not mind. We had Damian Fenrir versus Ricky Starks. Very standard showcase for Starks. We had the Roshem Bo for the win. We had Danny Limelight versus Brandon Cutler next. Limelight actually got some decent offense here. Cutler with a springboard forearm. Limelight caught Cutler mid-suicide dive into a Fujiwara armbar. That actually looked beautiful. Cutler then won with the TPK. He is on a 5-match winning streak. Very, very happy to see Cutler on a win streak. We had John Cruz versus Pretty Peter Avalon. Cruz actually looked fairly decent here. Cruz with a flying forearm and a big wind-up punch. And he did a second punch, but Avalon hit a fireman's carry flapjack into the Martinis for the win. And Peter Avalon records his second ever victory. We had Tesha Price versus Shauna. Tesha Price actually looked fairly decent here. She had a cartwheel kick into the corner. Shauna missed a drop kick, but she hit a second one. She hit the Tiger Suplex for the win. Great to see Shauna back. I love Shauna. Kylan King took on Catalina Perez. Kylan King, I actually like Kylan King. She's actually coming along very nicely. The potential is there. The potential is definitely there. We had a diving missile drop kick by King. That looked great. She actually got a lot of distance on that missile drop kick. We had a German suplex and a back suplex facebuster for the win by Miss Kylan King. So, we then had Adam Priest and Sean Maluda versus the Best Friends. Standard showcase for the Best Friends. 2 Awful Waffles for the win. Terrible fucking name, the Awful Waffle, but it's a brutal pile driver. We had Alex Gracia versus Leva Bates. Leva Bates is fucking terrible. Leva Bates is awful. She is so fucking weak. She's legitimately a fucking weakling in the ring. Her offense is so fucking soft that I don't think that a fly would be hurt. I don't even think a fly would be hurt by Leva Bates' offense. It's like, are you wrestling a woman made of glass? I don't know what you're trying to do. She had a roll-through spear, which looked terrible. Bates' offense, I'm telling you, it's just so fucking weak. I don't know. Alex Gracia is actually fairly decent. Leva Bates won with a shitty-looking small package. This was terrible. Undoubtedly the worst match of the night. We had Angel Fashion, VSK, and Sean Donovan versus the Gun Club. Same 6-man tag that we see constantly with the Gun Club. Austin Gunn won with the quick draw. That was pretty much that. I don't really care for the Gun Club. They're decent wrestlers. I just don't care for them. So, we had Matt Sydal versus Aaron Solo. Standard showcase for Sydal. Sydal won with the page turner. Dropped Aaron Solo right on the back of his neck. We had Baron Black and Fuego del Sol. They took on the Dark Order. Stu Grayson and Evil Uno, to be specific, excuse me. Standard showcase for the Dark Order here. Uno with the Ataxia for the win. We had Griff Garrison and Brian Pillman Jr. versus Ryzen and Cesar Bononi. We had a blockbuster spine buster combo for the win by Pillman and Garrison. I don't really care for Pillman and Garrison. They're a decent pair, but really nothing all that special. Lindsay Snow took on Ivelisse. Ivelisse looked very, very good here. Ivelisse with a senton to Snow off the apron. Snow came back with a crossbody and a Shining Wizard. Ivelisse with the roundhouse kick, followed up by the roll-through parallel snapmare kick. Ivelisse gets the win. I definitely want to see Ivelisse more on Dynamite. I think she's a great professional wrestler. My favorite part of Dynamite, and or Dark, the acclaimed Anthony Bowens and Max Caster. They took on Bobby Wayward and George South Jr. The Acclaimed are fucking hilarious. They had a diss track, so Caster took the mic, and he says, "Yo, we the Acclaimed, beating 2 no-names, that's the easiest thing. You look like a broke MC Hammer. Call up your mom, cause I'm about to slam her. This guy, you look like a blimp. I called up your girl, she called you a shrimp. I saw you in the locker room, why you so limp? The Acclaimed stay hard, can y'all take the hint?" So, again, laughing my ass off again. I fucking love the Acclaimed. Anthony Bowens is physically impressive. Max Caster brings a level of entertainment that I haven't seen since Enzo and Cass. So, I am loving what the Acclaimed... They actually showed face on Dynamite as well. They actually had a back and forth with the Young Bucks, which I laughed at. They were talking about the Young Bucks looking at each other's dicks on Dynamite, which I'll talk about in a little bit, but I fucking love Max Caster. I love Anthony Bowens. They're fantastic. This was fucking great. We had the Acclaimed versus these 2 individuals, and the Acclaimed have definitely had better matches. Their opponents sucked. Their opponents were out of position numerous amounts of times. Their opponents were very, very sloppy in the ring, out of position a lot, but I loved what Anthony Bowens and Max Caster have been doing. They won with the necklock suplex elbow drop for the win. The Acclaimed still coming up in the rankings. We had Chaos Project taking on Alex Chamberlain and Seth Gargis. We had Creeping Death for the win. The less we see of Luther, the better. We had Lady Frost versus Red Velvet. Standard showcase for Red Velvet. We had a shotgun kick for the win. I've been loving what Red Velvet is doing. Terrible name, but she's a very good wrestler. And then in the main event, we had 5 and 10 versus Jurassic Express versus Joey Janela and Sonny Kiss. This was a triple threat tag team match. Very standard triple threat tag team match right here. We had Janela. Janela, he got launched into the camera guy. 10 with a wheelbarrow German suplex on Jungle Boy. We had a hot tag to Luchasaurus. He lit up number 5 and 10. Fireman's carry slam to Kiss. So 10 tossed 5 into a DDT on Janela. Janela's fucking spiked himself. He sells his ass off, does Janela. We had a tope suicida by Jungle Boy. We had the extinction event on Sonny Kiss, but Sonny Kiss kicked out. Janela with a DVD to 5 onto Jungle Boy while he was on the apron. We had a moonsault by Kiss, which looked terrible. We had a destroyer, a Canadian destroyer on Janela. Kiss was taken out by a frog splash by 5. We had a back suplex powerbomb combination on 5 by Jurassic Express. And Jurassic Express win a fun main event. They need to shorten the matches on Dark. It is not doing Dark any favors. But Jurassic Express, they get the win here. And I can absolutely see Jurassic Express as the guys to take the titles off the Young Bucks at Revolution in February. I would love to see that. So, we had AEW Dynamite. Winter is coming. Let's check the chat before we talk about Dynamite. Danielle's still dabbing. Danielle is still dabbing. Joe Fo in the ring. Yeah, I remember you interviewed Danny Limelight. I remember you interviewing Danny Limelight. I think that Danny Limelight definitely has a lot of potential. I think that in due time, he will definitely be something. We'll find out, but Danny Limelight, he looked fairly decent. He looked fairly decent. So, AEW Dynamite. Now, not a lot of people will look at this as the best Dynamite of the year, but I will say it was definitely the most important Dynamite so far in its young history. And one thing that is going to be a huge factor with this Dynamite is Tony Khan. He gave you a glimpse into the future. He gave you a glimpse into the future, and he really set the tone very, very nicely. He ended the year on a high note here. He ended the year on a high note, and he was like, you better watch out for what we're doing in 2021. AEW is the place to be. That's what I got from this show. It wasn't a perfect show. No show is ever perfect. A lot of people look at NXT TakeOver New York from 2019 as the best pay-per-view of the modern era. I wouldn't even say that was perfect. TakeOver Portland and Full Gear may go down as the 2 best pay-per-views of 2020. Those shows weren't even perfect. Those shows weren't even perfect. But AEW Dynamite, overall, we got an awesome, awesome show. Undoubtedly the show of the week. Undoubtedly the best show of the week. And AEW Dynamite really got you excited for what is to come. They ended the year strong. They ended the year really strong. And I cannot wait to see what they do in the coming weeks leading into 2021. So we started off the show with the Dynamite Diamond Battle Royal. And overall, a lot of people don't really like Battle Royals considering that they can be very messy. They can be very sloppy. And the stories going into the Battle Royal always revolve around one guy, and one guy usually has the breakout performance. We're conditioned to think that battle royals are ultimately the death of a wrestling show. But this wrestling show specifically, I would say they got the battle royal down very, very nicely. It was a fairly decent battle royal, and it really did help that they had a lot of storylines. There was a lot of moving parts in this battle royal. It was a decent battle royal, really nothing all that special, really nothing all that crazy, nothing you're going to go back and rewatch, nothing groundbreaking, but we got a fairly decent battle royal. We got a decent way to kick off the show. We had a lot of great parts in this battle royal. We had a storyline advancement of Shawn Spears and Scorpio Sky, a storyline advancement of the Dark Order and Adam Hangman Page. Miro had a great showcase. He eliminated like 4 people. He had a great back and forth with Wardlow. You had the Inner Circle. You had Sammy and MJF. You had Jungle Boy and Sammy Guevara going back and forth. You had Orange Cassidy in there. So MJF, Wardlow, and Sammy, they didn't get into the ring until like the very end, and they were hanging in the corner. They were hanging in the corner, and they were staying away from their competition. We had Page and the Dark Order actually teaming up together. They got some nice offense as a unit. We did have Wardlow eliminating Scorpio Sky after Scorpio Sky eliminated Shawn Spears, and then Shawn Spears took the steel slug, put it in his glove, and then hit Scorpio Sky with it, and then Wardlow took advantage and eliminated Sky. Wardlow looked fairly decent here as well. Page was shoved off the apron, but the Dark Order caught him. The Dark Order caught him, advancing their storyline, which I do believe is going to result in a match at Revolution between Adam Hangman Page and Brody Lee, which I would love to see. That would be a great fucking wrestling match. So, the Dark Order saved Page. We had a buckshot lariat to Mark Quinn. Hardy then eliminated Page. Cassidy then eliminated Kip Sabian. Miro was taking out everyone. He took out Orange Cassidy, but he was never eliminated. Cassidy was never eliminated. We had Miro. He eliminated. Who did he eliminate? He eliminated Janela. I think he eliminated Luchasaurus. He eliminated Mark Quinn, and he eliminated Matt Hardy. And then the Inner Circle swarmed him. But then we had Miro and Wardlow getting into it. Miro then got eliminated by the Inner Circle. So in a way, he was protected because it took like 4 guys to eliminate him. It came down to Jungle Boy, Sammy, Wardlow, and MJF. Jungle Boy was forced to fight off all 3 men. MJF then shoved Jungle Boy off the top, and in turn, he shoved Sammy to the floor as well. So it came down to Wardlow and MJF, or so we thought. Cassidy was never eliminated. Cassidy, then he caught a new fire. He caught a new lease on this battle royal. He hit 2 orange punches, and then he eliminated Wardlow. So next week we get Cassidy and MJF for the Dynamite Diamond Ring. That's going to be a great fucking wrestling match. I would not mind if Cassidy wins. Decent battle royal to kick off the show. Really nothing too special, but it was a fun battle royal for what it was. We did get a lot of storyline advancements, and Miro had a very nice showcase in this battle royal, so I have absolutely no problem with this battle royal. Really nothing special, nothing groundbreaking, nothing you're going to go back and rewatch, but it was a decent, fairly decent way to kick off the show. Frankie Kazarian versus Chris Jericho. This was a good match, but we did have some sloppy portions here and there. I'm not sure what was going on. It almost seemed like Chris Jericho was half-assing it a little bit in this match, but it was still a good match. Sloppy here and there, but still good. And we did get more storyline advancement with this match, which I did not mind. So, Kazarian was dissected by Jericho after Hager interfered and he attacked Kazarian. Kazarian then came back with a big flying forearm. We had a springboard leg drop for a 2. Kazarian then with an avalanche It looked like a combination of an exploder suplex and or a Spanish fly. It looked a little sloppy, but yet it looked great at the same time. I'm not really sure what they were going for, but it looked like an avalanche, exploder suplex, Spanish fly combination. I thought it looked great. I thought it looked great there. So that got a 2 count on Jericho. And then we had Frankie Kazarian putting Jericho in the walls of Jericho. Now, I thought that it was a very sloppy-looking walls of Jericho. Kazarian actually lost his grip a few times. But Jericho was in the walls of Jericho, and MJF came out with a towel. And it brought me back to what happened at Full Gear between MJF and Cody. And it looked like MJF was going to throw in the towel on Cody. Sammy Guevara then ran out. And we had Sammy Guevara grabbing the towel, stopping MJF from throwing in the towel for Jericho. Jericho eventually got to the ropes. Kazarian was distracted. Jericho then saw Sammy Guevara with the towel, and he thought Sammy Guevara was going to throw in the towel. And MJF acted like it wasn't him. Then we had Kazarian rolling up Jericho a couple times, but he ended up catching the Judas effect, and Jericho won the match. Good match. Sloppy here and there, but it was still a good match. And I loved what they did with MJF and Sammy Guevara. I thought that was very, very, very clever. And then we had Jericho trying to separate the two because Sammy and MJF were shoving each other, and Jericho was like, stop, enough of this shit. Next week, we're going to get all this together, and next week, I'm throwing down an ultimatum. Next week, we either work together as a unit or the inner circle breaks up forever. So that is going to be a really, really, really interesting scenario for next week. I am very, very, very much intrigued to see what they do concerning the inner circle breakup, potential breakup. It should definitely be a very, very, very fun, fun little segment that will advance this storyline. And I actually do believe that that storyline could actually result in a match between Sammy and MJF. You see, one thing that I've noticed here with this storyline is the fact that Jericho, he's been favoring MJF a little bit more. MJF is the newest member of the Inner Circle. And Jericho, he's really been favoring MJF over Sammy Guevara, but yet Sammy Guevara's always been Jericho's second in command. And Sammy Guevara is now trying to persuade Jericho that MJF is just doing what he's doing to kind of break up the Inner Circle. He's doing what he's doing for his own selfish greed. Sammy is Jericho's second in command, and Sammy has been with the Inner Circle since day one. Sammy is the star screen to Chris Jericho's Megatron, but Jericho's been a little bit more friendly with MJF. So that, I feel as though that could very well lead to a storyline where we could potentially see MJF kick Sammy Guevara out of the Inner Circle. Maybe Jericho assigns the Inner Circle leadership duties to MJF over Sammy Guevara, or we get a match between Sammy Guevara and MJF. Jericho's like, all right, you know what? I'm sick of this shit. I'm sick of you two fighting. We are going to end this once and for all. Sammy, you don't like MJF. MJF doesn't like Sammy. You know what's going to happen? We're going to have a match between you two at Revolution. Loser gets kicked out of the Inner Circle. Boom. It's a route that they could very well go. So I thought that this was a very, very, very nice storyline advancement. Mr. Jofo in the ring, thank you very much for stopping by. I greatly appreciate you. You have an awesome, awesome, awesome weekend. I will see you tomorrow for TakeOver. Next week, we got the Young Bucks versus the Hybrid 2. Young Bucks said if the Hybrid 2 can beat the Young Bucks, they will get a World Tag Team title opportunity. The Acclaimed showed up on Dynamite with a diss track on the Bucks, which was fucking hilarious. And then afterwards, the Hybrid 2 attacked the Young Bucks. So we get the Hybrid 2 versus the Young Bucks next week, which is going to be a great match. How you doing, Mr. Earl Cole? Please hit that like button. So, after this, we went into Britt Baker versus legit Layla Hirsch. Now, Layla Hirsch is very, very good. Layla Hirsch is very good. She may be a little inexperienced, but she's very, very good for what she's been showcased. She has a very nice look. She has a great sense of intensity. She had a damn good match with Serena Deeb. She had a damn good match with Hikaru Shida. Now, Britt Baker here, I don't know what was going on, but number one, there was way too much interference between Rebel in this match. Way too much interference from Rebel. That really hampered the match down. On top of that, Britt Baker, she looked a lot better in the squash matches that she had a couple of weeks ago, but I don't know what the fuck happened here. Britt Baker works way too fucking slow pace of a match. She works way too slow. Way too fucking slow. I don't know what the fuck happened here, but Layla Hirsch carried most of this matchup. Layla Hirsch absolutely carried most of this matchup, and it was that fact that Layla Hirsch carried most of this match that really hampered this match down, considering that she's so inexperienced. And Britt Baker, she really needs to pick up the pace. Her pace is way too slow, way too methodical, and her timing is not all there. This match could have been a hell of a lot better than it really was if Britt Baker had actually picked up the pace. So we had a super kick and a DDT by Britt Baker. She took over. Hirsch with a nice German suplex. She hit a suicide dive to Rebel. We had a sling blade on the floor by Britt Baker. Hirsch with a punt knee strike. She tried to lock in an armbar, but Britt reversed it into a lockjaw. Hirsch reversed the armbar again. Then we had a short-armed punt knee strike. Hirsch got driven into the turnbuckle after Rebel caused the distraction, and then we had a Fisherman neckbreaker and the lockjaw for the win. And then afterwards, Thunder Rosa came out, and she went right after Britt as the referees came out to separate them. Layla Hirsch ended up taking out Rebel, so I'm not sure if we're going to get a tag team match between Rebel and Britt taking on Layla Hirsch and Thunder Rosa. I hope not. I hope not, to be quite honest with you. But the match itself could have been a lot better. Layla Hirsch is coming along very, very nicely. I love Layla Hirsch, but Britt Baker's timing is not all there, number one. And number two, she works way too slow of a match. You gotta pick up the fucking pace, Britt. If you're watching, pick up the fucking pace. Thunder Rosa is going to be the real test for Britt Baker. If she does not pass that test, then I don't think she's going to be women's champion. I do not think she's going to take that title off Shida. She needs to pass the test of Thunder Rosa before you can be women's champion, before you take that title off of Shida. So, we then had Cody Rhodes and Darby Allin versus Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs. Very, very standard tag team match. This really wasn't all that special. Allin was absolutely destroyed by Will Hobbs. Hobbs was tossing him around like he was fucking nothing. So Allin eventually made the hot tag to Cody. Cody came in hot with a snap power slam. Disaster kick to Hobbs. Cody cutter on Starks and a plancha to Hobbs. And then we had a coffin drop by Darby Allin on Ricky Starks. Right man got the pinfall here. Darby Allin gets the win. Darby Allin, the TNT champion, gets the win over Ricky Starks here. And then afterwards, Hobbs went after Allin. Arn tried to come in. He started attacking Ricky Starks and Will Hobbs before they took over control. And then we had Brian Cage and Taz coming out after Dustin Rhodes attacked Team Taz. But we had an F5 on Dustin. We had an F5 on Cody. And it looked like Brian Cage was going to break Darby Allin in half. But then out of nowhere, the lights go out. The lights go out. And then all of a sudden, we had this fake snow falling from the sky. We had this winter forest come up on the Titantron. And then out of nowhere, we see Sting, the word Sting, come across on the screen. And I'm not bullshitting you. Sting, yes, Sting walks out through the tunnel and he stands face to face with Team Taz, pulled out his bat, and Team Taz was sent running. We then had Sting staring down Arn, he stared down Dustin, he stared down Cody, and he stared down Darby. And that was it. Sting didn't say a fucking word. This entire fucking segment was fucking amazing. I even tweeted out, I was at a legit loss for words. I did not know what to say. I did not know what to do. I was shocked beyond my belief. I was not expecting Sting. That was absolutely fucking amazing. Now, I was searching my Twitter timeline afterwards, and I'm seeing all these people fucking complain. And I'm like, what the fuck are you complaining? I seriously don't get it. What the fuck are you complaining about? What the fuck are you screaming? What the fuck are you ranting? What the fuck are you raving about? I really don't understand. I really don't understand. You're acting like Sting came in there and he was put in a world title feud with Kenny Omega. I mean, you take a look at what Goldberg did. Goldberg went in there and he beat Kevin Owens and The Fiend both for the Universal Championship. He got 2 fucking Universal Championship reigns, and he is in the main event of the show over the younger stars. Sting didn't win a championship. Sting didn't beat a younger star. Sting didn't bury a younger star. Sting was not placed at the top of the card. He was placed in the middle of the card. All he did was come out there, pull out his bat, and stare at 4 people. What the fuck are you complaining about? What the fuck are you complaining about? On top of that, we don't even know if he's even wrestling. We don't even know if he's even going to wrestle. Yeah, he signed a multi-year deal, but we don't even know if he's even going to wrestle. If he does wrestle, he'll probably do 1 to 3 matches. He'll probably do a match with Cody. He'll probably do a match with Darby. He'll probably put them both over. Or we have a blood and guts match. We have a potential blood and guts match with Sting, Cody, Dustin, QT, and Darby taking on Team Taz. And if so, Sting will probably get the win there, and that's it. If Sting does wrestle, he's probably only wrestling 2, 3, 4 matches. Sting, if anything, he's either going to be a manager for Darby, or he could possibly be a producer. Sting is not there to bury talent. Sting is not there to win championships. Sting is there to A, help get others over, and B, help draw more people to watch All Elite Wrestling. Sting and Goldberg, 2 different things. You cannot compare Sting or The Undertaker or any of these legends in the WWE doing what they did versus what Sting did. All he did was show up. He didn't do anything. Guys, a guy hasn't said a fucking word and you're already complaining? Wait and see what the guy says first. Wait and see where this is going before you even fucking complain. We already knew where the storyline with Goldberg was going. It was resulting in Goldberg winning a title from Owens and winning a title from The Fiend. We don't fucking need that. We don't fucking want that. That is not going to fucking help advance the company. AEW is using legends properly. They're not using Jake Roberts or Arn Anderson in a fucking world title match. They're not having Jericho in every fucking title match on an AEW pay-per-view. Jericho's been putting people over this whole year. So what the fuck are you complaining about? If you're complaining about Sting, and you're comparing Sting to what happened with Goldberg, you do not deserve to even open your fucking mouth. Shut up. Shut your fucking mouth. Do not come at me with this stupidity and sit your ass down. Sit your ass down. Only speak when I speak to you. You dig? So Sting is actually speaking next week Next week, we also have FTR versus the Varsity Blondes. We have Dustin Rhodes versus number 10. And we have Lance Archer and the Lucha Bros taking on Eddie Kingston, the Butcher, and the Blade. Should be a very, very, very nice show next week. Jon Moxley versus Kenny Omega. This was for the AEW World Championship. This was an excellent fucking match. It was an absolute war. An absolute war, an excellent fucking match, and a beautiful, beautiful ending with a lot of talking points. It was a very, very, very newsworthy match and a very newsworthy night as a whole. AEW, it looks like they're going to be going into a partnership with Impact, which I will talk about in a little bit. But the match itself was excellent. So they went back and forth early on, counter for counter, move for move. Moxley turned the match into a brawl. He kept the pressure on Omega. Omega then targeted the left leg of Moxley. We had a springboard drop kick to the leg. Moxley with the lariat turning Omega inside out. Moxley with a release German suplex. We had a second release German suplex and an exploder suplex. That got a 2 count. We had Omega with the Rise of the Terminator, Tope Con Hero. We had a paradigm shift by Moxley, and then, out of nowhere, Moxley brought in 2 chairs. He sat in one, and he's like, here, take a seat. Take a seat, Kenny. And he's like, hit me. Hit me. So they started hitting each other while they were in the chairs. They exchanged blows and palm strikes, and then we had a big V-trigger sending Moxley out of the chair. Moxley with the King Kong lariat and a second paradigm shift, but Omega kicked out. Omega then with a mid-air V-trigger as Moxley went for the suicide dive, a missile drop kick, another V-trigger into the corner, and then we had the Tiger Driver 98 for a 2. Counter for counter, move for move. Omega with a V-trigger. Omega with a wheelbarrow suplex for a 2. Moxley then with a paradigm shift into the heaters. We had heaters considering that it was a very, very cold night in Jacksonville. We had a paradigm shift into the heaters. And they were acting like Omega was legitimately hurt. They were acting like Omega was legitimately fucking hurt. Now, I actually thought he was hurt. We had referees swarming him. We had the announcer, Don Callis, Kenny Omega's friend, Don Callis came out. He was checking on Omega. He's like, he's hurt. I actually thought he was legitimately hurt. So Moxley threw Kenny back into the ring, and Don Callis took the microphone. He's trying to say that he's hurt, and Moxley didn't give a shit. He knocked the fuck out of Don Callis. The ref was checking on Don Callis. Out of nowhere, Kenny Omega hits Moxley with a microphone, and Moxley was bleeding. We then had another V-trigger, a second V-trigger, a third V-trigger, a fourth V-trigger, and then a one-winged angel. And Kenny Omega wins. An excellent fucking match right here. Absolutely fucking classic stuff right here. Moxley and Omega absolutely tore the house down for 30 fucking minutes. Absolutely loved what they did right here. And Kenny Omega officially turned heel. Don Callis and Kenny Omega then left the building, and he says, you're going to find out this Tuesday. This Tuesday on Impact Wrestling, we'll tell you all about it. And it was confirmed. I may just have to go out of my way to watch Impact Wrestling after I watch AEW Dark. I actually want to see. What they do. I actually want to see what happens here between Kenny Omega and Don Callis. Could we potentially see an Impact and AEW partnership? Has AEW bought Impact out? I don't fucking know. But dude, it was a very, 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 very newsworthy match, a very newsworthy night, a shocking moment. That last hour of Dynamite really hit a grand slam. Awesome show. Awesome stuff right here. I cannot wait to see what they do on Impact Wrestling now. And Impact is dead. Impact really is dead. But with what Kenny Omega and Don Callis do, this could definitely rekindle the interest for Impact. And I would love to see someone like a Chris Bay or a Rich Swann or an Eric Young appear on AEW. I don't mind seeing guys like Chris Jericho go to Impact. I don't mind it. I don't mind it. So this was an awesome show right here. Great episode of Dynamite. Let's check the chat. Let's check the chat before we move into the NXT review. Check the chat before we move into the NXT review. Big boy Johnny, Sting looked good for his age. Damn right. So, Cool King, AEW debut for Sting was awesome indeed. I wouldn't mind Sting versus Darby. So, what else we got here? Indeed, Earl, the Sting segment was absolutely breathtaking. So, what else we got here? Sting versus Jericho is the only match I want to see Sting have. I think that wouldn't be too good considering they're both old. If anything, I would much rather see Sting versus Cody or Sting versus Darby, since Cody and Darby can really carry that match. AEW's been thriving better than WWE, absolutely. Peanuts, I'm not dabbing. Stop with the dab. Cameron Johnson, I'd laugh if AEW bought Impact out, but WWE couldn't. I hope they did. I really hope they did. Did you check out my SmackDown review? I have not. I have not, Big Boy Johnny. I have been busy. Earl Cole will definitely check it out. He is a loyal supporter. So, NXT. It really wasn't a bad show. It really wasn't. It was a fairly decent go-home show. I didn't mind what they were doing. Nothing really felt out of place. Nothing was cringeworthy, so I can appreciate that. Everything felt like it really should have happened, but I'm telling you, it is really getting hard to watch it considering just how dead the product really is. And I really don't even believe that I'm saying that. I really don't. It was a decent go-home show, and I'm pretty sure that TakeOver War Games is going to be a great show. But, Jesus, I don't know. I really don't know. We got a match between Damian Priest and Leon Ruff versus Legado del Fantasma, Escobar, and Raul Mendoza. So I don't really know why they're having Legado del Fantasma fight Damian Priest and Leon Ruff, considering that neither of these teams could really take a loss here. Leon Ruff and Damian Priest shouldn't be losing, and Legado del Fantasma should not be losing. So I don't really understand what was the point of this. So Escobar came flying through the ropes with a suicide missile dive, which looked great. Priest got distracted by another ghost face in the crowd. So there's multiple ghost faces in the crowd. We had Priest with a flatliner. Then we had a hot tag to Leon Ruff. Leon Ruff with a Hurricane Rana on Escobar. A neck breaker on Escobar. Mendoza tagged in. We had a tag to Priest. He took out both members of Legado del Fantasma. Mendoza caught a vicious forearm. We had a tag to Leon Ruff. We caught Damian Priest doing the reckoning to Mendoza. And then Leon Ruff with a beautiful frog splash. And Leon Ruff and Damian Priest get the win here. Good tag team match to kick off NXT. Leon Ruff, I've said it once, I'll say it again. Leon Ruff, he's a good professional wrestler, but this storyline with Leon Ruff absolutely makes no sense, and it's absolutely fucking cringeworthy because the guy came from fucking nothing. There was no wins. There was no character development. There was no showcase of Leon Ruff. There was only Leon Ruff getting his ass kicked by guys like Karrion Kross and Sheamus and Austin Theory, and then Leon Ruff just wins the North American title from Gargano just for the fucking hell of it. He's a good wrestler. And he deserves an opportunity, but they need to get that fucking title off of him. It's fucking terrible. And then afterwards, we had two ghost faces standing behind Johnny Gargano. Makes me think that Gargano could end up winning, which I would really question, because if anything, Damian Priest should get that title back. Gargano does not need that championship. If anything, Gargano should be positioned to take the title off of Finn Balor. But I don't think they're going to do that, considering that Kushida is on a 9-match win streak right now. So, we then had a video package reflecting the fall of the Undisputed Era. Undisputed Era in beautiful suits. Undisputed Era in a beautiful restaurant. They were reflecting on their past. Fish said, it's time to kick some ass. So this was a very, very, very good video package for the Undisputed Era. I didn't mind it whatsoever. I think that NXT does their video packages very, very well. They absolutely know how to hype up someone in a video package. And I think that the match at War Games is going to be very good. A lot of people have actually predicting, a little side note here. A lot of people have actually predicting Karrion Kross to return at NXT TakeOver War Games. Triple H actually said that he's ready to go. So, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens there, but I wouldn't mind Karrion Kross returning. But I actually think that if anything, we are going to see Karrion Kross debut on the main roster, possibly at the Royal Rumble. When that is, I don't know. Earl Cole has been telling me that the Royal Rumble has actually been moved. It's been moved from, I think, the 24th to like the 31st. So I don't know what's going on with the Royal Rumble date. We'll have to wait and find out. So then we had Cameron Grimes versus August Gray. Standard showcase for Cameron Grimes here. Cameron Grimes won with the spinning side slam and the cave-in. So Grimes pulled out a strap from the bag, and he looks in the camera. He's like, Loomis, you made a big mistake. So we had Cameron Grimes strapping himself to August Gray. He started whipping August Gray, and he toyed with him, and he fell out of the ring. And then Cameron Grimes is like, you see, he can run, but I can just pull him right back in. So August Gray, he fell out of the ring. And he was out of camera. He was out of camera sight, right? He was out of camera sight. And what happened was, then Cameron Grimes started pulling the strap back, and he was looking at the camera, and Dexter Loomis was on the other end of the strap. I thought that was fucking hilarious. So Cameron Grimes, he was scared, and Dexter Loomis ended up sending Cameron Grimes packing, and that was that. So after TLC, I'm just looking for that feud to be over. That feud needs to end. That feud needs to be over. It's not worth it anymore. It really isn't. The feud is not entertaining. The feud should have ended after the Haunted House of Terrors match. So we had Jake Atlas versus Tony Nese. This was a decent little match right here. Atlas with a huge lariat, a back body drop, and a snap German suplex. We had a forearm strike for a 2 by Jake Atlas. Tony Nese with the throat jab, springboard moonsault miss. We had a spin kick by Nese for a 2. And then Atlas with a leaping jawbreaker and the cartwheel DDT for the win. Decent little match right here from Jake Atlas. He was then interviewed afterwards, and he says, you take 3 steps backwards only to take 1 big leap forwards. He says he needs to be beaten down to be reminded that being at the top is no joke. I'm not standing here as NXT Cruiserweight Champion, but I picked myself back up and got a win. I'm going to keep this momentum going forward until I get myself back to Santos Escobar and the NXT Cruiserweight title. There's one thing that I can appreciate. I can definitely appreciate the seriousness and the focus and determination that Jake Atlas is showing, because that's ultimately what modern day wrestling shouldn't be about. It shouldn't be about these crazy, wacky, over-the-top characters and these crazy, wacky, over-the-top gimmicks. It should be about focus, determination, should be about winning matches, should be about wrestling. So I can appreciate the focus, I can appreciate the determination within Jake Atlas. Now, he's really not going to move the needle. He's not going to be a major breakout star, but he's much better off now than he was when he originally came about. So I do not mind what Jake Atlas has been doing. He's actually showing a lot more intensity in the ring, which I can get behind. He's intense, he's fluid, he is much more serious, which I think is perfect. And he should keep that up. He should absolutely keep that up. So, we had Pat McAfee and his posse coming out to address the NXT universe. So, Pat says, "Shut up, Vic Joseph." He says, "Rest in peace, Pat Patterson." But onto things on the opposite end of the respect spectrum. He says he watched a night out with the Undisputed Era, and it was the lamest night out he's ever seen. He says his team was put together by money, more money than any of you losers will ever have in your entire lives. This Sunday, it's not about the return of the Undisputed Era, it's about Pete Dunne, Oney Lorcan, and Danny Burch taking over. It's not another main event for the Undisputed Era. So he hyped up his men, he talked right into the camera, and he says, "While all of you sit in your small little basement in your mom's house, envision yourself as a member of the Undisputed Era. Feel every single kick in the mouth he gives to Adam Cole, every punch, every time he put him through tables. We use chairs and kendo sticks. Every single thing. I want you to feel every single part of it on Sunday. 2 rings, 2 cages, 2 teams, 1 brutal truth." And Pete Dunne says, "We will end the Undisputed Era." And Pat McAfee says, "That's not a undisputed fact, that is a promise." He says, "We're the greatest, you all suck. Cheers." Pat McAfee cuts a great heel promo. He knows how to be a dick. He knows how to troll the audience, but again, he doesn't have a leg to stand on. And after he loses the War Games match, it's only going to drive the nail further into the coffin. No matter how great on the microphone Pat McAfee is, Pat McAfee should not be seen on on NXT television ever again after War Games. No need for it. So, we had Xia Li and Boa in the back. Not even in the back. They're like in this dark place. This is like a continuation from their Chinese horror movie little segment that we got last week. And it's like segment after segment. It's like bits and pieces of a Chinese horror movie, right? So Xia Li and Boa, they were like being quote unquote baptized in water. It's legitimately like they were forced to baptize themselves over and over again in water. And we had the elderly Japanese man. We had the elderly Japanese man, whatever it is. The elderly Chinese man saying again. He was screaming again in Chinese. And they did it over and over and over again. And then they got up. And they came face to face with a hooded woman. It was like, it almost looked like that creepy girl from The Ring that had a hood. Her hair was covering her eyes. And they were forced to bow at the feet of this hooded woman. And then they got whipped with kendo sticks afterwards. So it's like they're being punished for losing. It's like they're being punished. Now, I don't know where this is leading to, but I'm actually very intrigued by this. A lot of people have speculated it may be Karen Q Karen Q, who faced off against Xia Li in the Mae Young Classic. I personally would not like... I do not see anything in Karen Q, to be quite honest with you. Some people have speculated it could be Mercedes Martinez, but I don't think that would make too much sense. If anything, the one thing that makes the most sense would be Meiko Satomura. And I actually reported that Meiko Satomura is coming back. I actually reported that Meiko Satomura was actually rumored to be going to NXT UK as a trainer and a wrestler. Maybe Triple H pulled some strings and he got Meiko Satomura to go down and get a flight to the US. We could see Meiko Satomura in NXT. I wouldn't mind that. So we had Imperium attacking Ever-Rise. They left him laying. Bartel took the microphone. He says, "Who do you think you are?" They were talking to the grizzled young veterans. He says, "We are here to put the two of you in your place. This tag team division belongs to Imperium." So we get a tag team match between Imperium and the grizzled young veterans, which was shaping up to be very, very good until Ever-Rise came out and attacked both teams. So it seems as though Ever-Rise is going to be used to put over Imperium and or the grizzled young veterans. I would not mind that. I would absolutely love to see the grizzled young veterans continue to be built up, eventually to take the titles off of Oney Lorcan and Mr. Danny Burch. I would not mind that whatsoever. So after that, we had another session of Thatch as Thatch Ken with Mr. Submission Locks, Timothy Thatcher. He turns around and he is greeted by Mr. Tommaso Ciampa. Tommaso Ciampa says, "I ain't here to learn, I'm here to teach. Class is in session." Thatcher says, "I don't got a problem with you. I already said." So Ciampa obviously provokes Thatcher. He says, "Timothy Thatcher, everyone. Such a disappointment." So Ciampa then got double leg takedowned by Timothy Thatcher. Timothy Thatcher and his student actually attacked Tommaso Ciampa. So Thatcher took over and he locked Ciampa in a guillotine and Ciampa passed out. So I thought that was a shocker to me. Now, Timothy Thatcher, like we said, he's a very good technical wizard, but the guy's fucking boring. All the guy does is fucking submission holds. The guy is nothing more than an enhancement talent, to be quite honest. If anything, it seems as though Timothy Thatcher he's become the Baron Corbin of NXT. Except Timothy Thatcher is much better than Baron Corbin, and I'm not even a fucking fan of Timothy Thatcher. So we have Timothy Thatcher and Tommaso Ciampa getting booked for NXT TakeOver. Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher, they get booked for NXT TakeOver, and I'm going with Tommaso Ciampa to go over Timothy Thatcher. Hey, if there's anyone that can bring Timothy Thatcher to a decent match, it's Tommaso Ciampa. Timothy Thatcher's fucking boring, but when he's paired with the right people, he can give you a decent match. So after that, we had Raquel Gonzalez versus Shotzi Blackheart. This was the War Games Advantage ladder match. This was good. It was good. It was okay. It was decent. But I'm not sure if you guys felt this when watching this match, but it seems as though they were really just half-assing it. It seems as though Raquel Gonzalez and Shotzi Blackheart, they're not bad in the ring. Raquel Gonzalez is actually coming in quite nicely. And Shotzi Blackheart, she's great at what she does, but I don't know why. It just seems as though they were just half-assing it because they were afraid. They were afraid of getting injured. I'm not sure if you guys felt that. But Shotzi Blackheart, she was using her speed against Gonzalez. Gonzalez came in. She carried Shotzi on her back and backed her up into the post. Gonzalez was then sent leg first into the steps. Shotzi Blackheart with a coffin drop off the barricade to Gonzalez. Shotzi then dropped Raquel onto the apron. a very sloppy-looking DDT. Very, very sloppy-looking DDT. We had Gonzalez using the steel steps against Blackheart. Blackheart with the cannonball onto Raquel while she was draped up against the ladder. We then had a seated senton by Shotzi. Indy Hartwell then came in and used the ladder to get Candice's team off of her platform. There were platforms with Team Candice and Team Shotzi. And Indy Hartwell used the platform to get Candice's team down from... used the ladder to get Candice's team down from the platform. Rhea Ripley and Ember Moon somehow got down from the platform, and the refs were trying to separate the teams. Gonzalez then ran over Shotzi, but then out of nowhere we had Io Shirai. We had Io Shirai jumping off of the ropes onto the back of Raquel Gonzalez while she was on the ladder, Spider-Man style, and Shirai took down Raquel. And then we had a moonsault taking out the entire pile. Shotzi climbed the ladder, and Shotzi grabbed the briefcase. Shotzi's team gets the advantage at War Games, and I do expect Team Shotzi to come out victorious at NXT TakeOver War Games 4. So, decent match. I just feel as though they were half-assing it. Shotzi's team looks great, and if anything, I actually watched Joseph Conlin's NXT TakeOver preview, and he actually said that the women are actually keeping NXT afloat right now because of how good the women's division really is. And you know what? I would not disagree with that statement whatsoever. He's right. So, decent episode of NXT, really nothing too special. The one thing that's really going to suck is the fact that no matter how good TakeOver War Games is going to be, it just sucks that the overall product, it just has no buzz around it. It just really sucks. And no matter how good it is, it's not going to rekindle that buzz, and it's not going to rekindle that love. It sucks. It really does suck. So, NXT UK, though, let me tell you something. NXT UK, they're putting on some really good shows. NXT UK, if anything, NXT UK was probably the second best show of the week. They're literally operating in front of no fucking crowd, and they got more buzz around them than NXT. NXT UK was great this week. If you guys haven't watched it, please go out of your way and watch it. We had Rampage Brown versus Saxon Huxley to kick off the show. This only went about 6 minutes, but man, was it hard-hitting and fucking physical. And I mean fucking physical. So, Rampage Brown came in with a beautiful dropkick. He actually does a great dropkick for a big guy. He was physically impressive here. Saxon Huxley came off the top with a flying clothesline for a 2. He kept the pressure on Brown. We had a Uranagi by Huxley for a 2. Huxley went up to the top rope. He went for another dive, but we had Rampage Brown catching him mid-air in a power slam. That looked great. And afterwards, he hit the Doctor Bomb for the win. This was very hard-hitting, very physical, and Rampage Brown actually looked a lot better here than he did against Jack Stars. And it does have to do with the fact that he was against a better opponent. He was against a much better opponent in Saxon Huxley, even though Saxon Huxley really isn't all that special. But his match here with Saxon Huxley, it only went 6 minutes, but it was very hitting, very physical, and I would actually love to see more of this. If Rampage Brown keeps up this, then I could definitely see him, if not Dragunov, I could see Rampage Brown being the one to take the title off of Walter. I think that they're going to do really, really, really well with Rampage Brown. He had a very, very, very physical and hard-hitting match here with Saxon Huxley. Well, I'm liking what he's doing. I'm liking what he's doing. He's not there yet. I'm not completely sold on him, but this was a much better match than the one with Jack Stars. I personally, squash matches do nothing. Squash matches really do nothing. They don't do anything for me. They don't do anything for the viewer. They really don't do anything. They just say, oh yeah, he's powerful. This guy's good. This guy can get a win here and there. But if anything, Rampage Brown should be putting on hard-hitting, physical, competitive matches. That's what's really going to get him over. So we had Eva Valkyrie versus Aaliyah James. This was a very standard showcase for Eva Valkyrie. Valkyrie came back with a neck breaker and the diving axe kick for the win. And I can definitely see Eva Valkyrie versus Kaylee Ray for the NXT UK Women's Championship at the start of 2021. Eva Valkyrie, she's going to be your next NXT UK Women's Champion. I don't think they're going to take that title off of Rhea Ripley anytime soon. So, we then had Pretty Deadly. Pretty Deadly. They were interviewed, and they were going back and forth saying how they were each other's favorite superstars, and they said that they're ready for Gallus. So, obviously, a tag team title match is coming. I would not mind it. I think that it would be a fairly decent match, and it would give Gallus a successful title defense. So, then we had Joe Coffey versus Alexander Wolf. This match was fucking great. This match was great. Alexander Wolf and Joe Coffey, they really don't get enough appreciation. They do not get enough appreciation than they are getting right now. They are two very, very good professional wrestlers. This was a great fucking match right here. Joe Coffey had his arm wrenched on by Alexander Wolf in the early portions of this match. We had Joe coming back with a suplex, Coffey with a few belly-to-bellies. We had a stinger splash in the corner and a diving springboard double jump cross body. That looked great. Wolf with a huge knee and a final cut. Wolf then he was about to catch a cross body, but he did a decleaning uppercut, a huge uppercut, almost a European uppercut, Cesaro-like uppercut from Alexander Wolf, taking out Joe Coffey. And he hit a Death Valley driver, beautiful Death Valley driver on Joe Coffey, but Joe Coffey still kicked out. We then had a German suplex by Wolf, but Coffey still stayed alive. Wolf got a lot of showcase in this match. We had Coffey hitting Aura Best for the bells, but Wolf rolled out of the ring. Coffey rolled him back into the ring, but Wolf got his foot on the bottom rope. Wolf and Coffey then exchanged blows back and forth. We had a slingshot shoulder block by Joe Coffey. We had the Glasgow send-off, and then a second Aura Best for the bells. And Joe Coffey wins a great, great fucking match here with Alexander Wolf. I don't necessarily know if he's a heel or a face, but I do believe that he is, right now, kind of an anti-hero, since Gallus is kind of like tweeners. So I guess they're kind of both. But this was a great fucking match here between Joe Coffey and Alexander Wolf. I'm not sure where Joe Coffey's going. I'm not sure where Alexander Wolf is going, but great fucking match here between these two. Really, really, really good stuff. Next week, Jordan Devlin. Jordan Devlin says he's going to start issuing an open challenge every week, starting next week, for the NXT Cruiserweight Championship. That's going to be great. I fucking love that. Jordan Devlin's a fucking awesome, awesome, awesome professional wrestler. Jordan Devlin may be my favorite superstar in NXT UK, right behind Walter. Jordan Devlin's an awesome, awesome wrestler. And I love that he's going forth and he's going to say, "Now I'm going to do an open challenge." I like that. He's not a fucking coward. He's going to go out there and defend that title each and every single fucking week. That's going to get people invested, and that's going to gain a lot more traction for Jordan Devlin. Great fucking stuff right here. I like that. Next week, we also have the debut of Supernova 11 sessions with Noam Dar, which we don't fucking need. Like I said, WWE themed talk shows need to fucking die. So, the main event, we had The Hunt versus Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster. This was a great fucking tag team match right here. Tag team wrestling is alive and well in NXT UK. Loved this match right here. Both teams started brawling immediately. This was a fight that stemmed back a few weeks ago when Eddie Dennis manipulated Wild Boar and Primate to attack Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster. So the brawl started out immediately. We had a fight spilling to the floor. So the match eventually begun. Webster and Andrews were on the attack early before Primate and Boar took over. We had Andrews making the tag to Webster. We had a springboard moonsault to Primate. Boar then got taken out. Webster with a springboard dropkick. Hurricane Rana on Boar. We had a rolling senton to Primate. Boar then got dropped onto Primate with a butterfly facebuster. We then had a standing shooting star by Mark Andrews for a 2. We had a German suplex on Andrews by Primate, a pop-up powerbomb by Boar, and a cannonball in the corner by Boar for 2. Andrews then with a double satellite DDT on Primate and Boar, which looked great. We had a double tope con hero to Andrews and Webster. We had a big knee by Webster, but Boar broke that one up. We had a double team suplex power slam combination by the Hunt, but Andrews was able to kick out. Webster with a crossbody on Boar. We had a Stun Dog Millionaire on Primate, and we had Andrews going up to the top, but Eddie Dennis ripped down Mark Andrews behind the referee's back. We had Boar taking out Webster on the outside. Webster was taken out by a clothesline, and then we had a beautiful spear by Primate, and then the fireman's carry toss into the powerbomb for the win. The Hunt gets the win in a great fucking tag team match, and if anything, I can see the Hunt as the team to take the NXT UK tag team titles off of Gallus. I think that the Hunt are going to be great heel champions. I think Eddie Dennis is going to bring the Hunt to tag team gold. Great tag team match right here. I loved it. I thought it was great. And I can definitely see the Hunt being built up to take the titles off of Gallus. Great episode of NXT UK here. The second best show of the week. Let's check the chat. Check the chat before we get into our final weekly show review. I know a lot of people are looking to go home and relax, or just relax in general. And a lot of you are already home. So, Earl Cole, NXT lost its magic and the pandemic hasn't helped it either. It's not even the pandemic. It's just the fact that the booking of NXT is just shit. The booking and the long-term storyline build of NXT is just shit. It's not even the pandemic. So, Cameron Johnson, I think Ginny's going to be the one to dethrone Kaylee Ray. I'm sorry. It's not going to happen. Ginny's just not ahead of Eva Valkyrie right now. Noam Dar bores me to fucking tears. He's actually great when he's given the opportunity, but right now he's really not doing anything of substance. SmackDown. I don't want to say it was terrible, because it really wasn't terrible. We didn't have that many bad things on the show, but it was just fucking boring at times. It was just kind of an episode that was just there. We did have some good stuff here and there, but it was just kind of an episode that was just there. It really didn't do too much. We started off with a 10-bell salute to Mr. Pat Patterson. So rest in peace to Mr. Pat Patterson. A beautiful 10-bell salute. We actually had a beautiful tribute to Pat Patterson later on in the show, where they played My Way by Frank Sinatra, which was beautiful. Beautiful stuff. So Kayla Braxton came out. She interviewed Roman Reigns. Uso and Heyman followed suit with Roman Reigns. So Reigns was then told, listen, you got to get this intro right, because Heyman usually does Roman's intro, and Kayla Braxton, she didn't announce Roman Reigns as the reigning, defending, undisputed Universal Champion, the Tribal Chief. So Heyman did his intro. They replayed what happened last week with Jay and Roman, and then, of course, with Kevin Owens. So Kayla asked if he fears Kevin. Roman says, you got the Universal Champion here. You got the Universal Champion right here. This is the most relevant thing that you've ever done. This is the most relevant you've ever been, and you're asking me stupid questions? It's kind of like how people come at me with stupid fucking statements on Twitter. So Reigns acting like a prick, which is great. Reigns is acting like a prick. Reigns acting like a prick. We had Roman saying, we take a chance on you. We could have had Michael Cole do it, but now we have you do it and you blow it. So next question. So Kayla asked if Roman was using Jay as a pawn, if he was manipulating Jay. Roman says he's a protector and a provider. Look at what Jay has done in the last 2 months. Then Reigns turned to Heyman and he says, Heyman, handle this amateur. So Heyman was spitting out all these statistics like a college professor, saying that Jey Uso was in the main event of the show and the ratings have gone up. Look at the statistics. Look at what our buddies at Fox have been saying. So Heyman, like a college professor, was taking Kayla Braxton to fucking school. And then out of nowhere, he was interrupted by Kevin Owens. So Kevin Owens says, since you don't fear me, and since you didn't come to me, I thought that I'd come to you. So Jay took the microphone. He says that we run this show, and we accept your challenge. So Owens obviously challenged. He challenged Jey Uso and Roman Reigns, or he challenged Roman specifically. Jay says, listen, I wasn't talking to the busboy. I was talking to the head of the table. I'm not sure if you heard this, but I think Owens said the table, just to be like a condescending rebel, which I loved. So Owens says, if not now, then when? Oh wait, you know what? Let's do it at TLC. Matter of fact, let's bring in a table, let's bring in ladders, and let's bring in chairs. And why don't you put that title on the line and we'll settle this like men? Or we could do it now. So Roman says the head of the table accepts, but he also says, you want to do this right now? Well, you're fucking manners. You think I'm a savage? I am a gentleman. There is a lady in the ring. So he told Owens to grow up, and then him, Heyman, and Jay started leaving the ring. Owens says, cut the music. You know, Roman, you told me to grow up. I'll grow up when you grow a pair of balls, because right now that you showed everyone that you're not a gentleman, you're just a bitch. This was a very, very, very good segment here. Roman, Jay, Heyman, and Owens all played their roles beautifully. And Owens is a believable person in that role. Owens, he plays a great heel, but when Owens is a babyface, he knows how to play a fucking rebel. And it's shit like that that is going to entertain the audience. And it's shit like that that's going to make everyone invested in this match between Roman and Owens at TLC in a TLC match. And to be quite honest with you, if Roman Reigns and Owens main events the show, I don't mind it. I don't mind if they main event the show. Normally I would shit on it because the WWE Championship should main event the show, but it's a TLC match. So that's your main event. TLC, main event's a TLC pay-per-view. So I don't mind that. And this segment was very good. And Kevin Owens is a very, very, very good interim opponent. He's a very good babyface. He knows how to revolt against anyone. He knows how to grab your attention. And it's shit like that that makes Kevin Owens such a great rebel. And Roman Reigns, this is how good Roman Reigns is. Roman Reigns is making everyone that faces him that much bigger of a babyface, regardless of whether or not they lose. You take a look at what happened with Jey Uso. He did it with Jey, he did it with Drew, and now he's going to do it with Owens. And it really does help that Owens is so good on the microphone, and it really helps that Owens is such a great rebel. He knows how to revolt against the system, and now he's revolting against Roman. That's what's going to make this feud interesting, regardless of whether it's predictable or not. So this was a very, very good segment, and they need to continue to do more segments like this. We had Bayley versus Natalya. This match was nothing special whatsoever. Standard, skippable, really something that you could just brush off. I don't even know why they even had it on the show if you were just going to have this match go 5 minutes. So, Natalya sent Bayley into the steps. Bianca was obviously on commentary. Bayley with a sidewinder suplex for a 2. Bayley missed her running knee. Natalya locked in a sharpshooter, and Bayley tapped out in 4 seconds. The match really wasn't anything special. Completely skippable. They could have completely just done this match on an episode of fucking Main Event. We did not need this match on SmackDown. I didn't mind the outcome. Because Bayley right now, she's really in a position where she's going to be putting others over. She's in a position where she's going to be distributing her credibility to everyone else around her. And Natalya's one of them. I didn't mind Natalya getting the win, but Bayley tapping out in 4 fucking seconds? I don't know what the fuck they were thinking there, but 4 seconds, that's like Lana tapping out to Shayna Baszler. How is it that Lana lasted longer in the Karafuda fucking clutch from Shayna Baszler than Bayley lasted in the sharpshooter from Natalya? I mean, come on. Come on. On top of that, they really aren't doing anything to get you invested in a Bayley versus Bianca match. Matter of fact, I wouldn't even be surprised if they wasted away on SmackDown instead of putting it on the pay-per-view. Even though they should put it on the pay-per-view. So then we had a beautiful tribute to Pat Patterson with My Way by Frank Sinatra playing in the background, which I loved. We then got the Pat Patterson 6-man tag tribute match. It was Daniel Bryan, Big E, and Rey Mysterio versus Dolph Ziggler, Dolph Ziggler, Shinsuke Nakamura, and the Intercontinental Champion Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn was the current Intercontinental Champion, and everyone else were former Intercontinental Champions. So that was the Pat Patterson tribute match. We had Bryan with a suicide dive to Zayn. He tried to fight off everyone. Ziggler with a drop kick, sending Bryan to the floor. We had Bryan making the tag to Big E coming back from commercial. We had the standard belly-to-belly combination by Big E connecting. Big E with a big splash. Nakamura with a spin kick. He reversed the big ending. We had a Uranagi by Big E for a close 2 count. By the way, Big E actually has new theme music. Which I like. And he brought back the weightlifting chalk. So that is something I can get behind. He got new theme music. He's got the weightlifting chalk. The only thing that I fucking hate is the fact that he's still gyrating his hips. Why are you still gyrating your hips? It's like Vince McMahon can't let the fucking New Day character go. But he got new theme music. He got new weightlifting chalk. So I actually like that. So Ziggler saved the match after Big E hit a Uranagi on Nakamura. Zayn made the blind tag. Rey made the tag as well. Zayn reversed a wheelbarrow bulldog into a beautiful, beautiful fucking Blue Thunder Bomb. I fucking love Sami Zayn's Blue Thunder Bomb. Beautiful shit. That got a 2 count on Rey. We had a tag to Ziggler and a tag to Bryan. Bryan with the yes kicks. Bryan and Ziggler exchanged roll-ups. Bryan with the yes kicks again. We had a famouser by Dolph, but Big E saved the match. We then had everyone taking out everyone before. Zayn made the blind tag again. And Bryan and Zayn exchanged roll-ups before Bryan got the quick roll-up for the win on Sami Zayn. The match itself was very good. Undoubtedly the best match of the night. It was very good. But, come on. Are you serious with this shit? I really don't understand. I really don't understand what WWE's problem is here. Why is it so hard to protect your champions? Why is it so hard to make sure that your champions look strong? I understand, yes, Sami Zayn is a fucking retard when it comes to politics. He is an idiot. He is an absolute fucking idiot when it comes to politics. No one is denying that. But that doesn't mean he deserves to be punished. That doesn't mean he deserves to be fucking pinned. That doesn't mean he deserves to look like a weakling on television. He's getting pinned week in and week out. He's a great wrestler and he's an entertaining individual on television. Utilize him as such. Leave your personal feelings in the back. Leave your personal feelings bottled up. Your personal feelings towards Sami Zayn as a human being, he's an idiot when it comes to politics, yes, but that does not mean he deserves to be punished and pinned on television. It's not that hard. So Sami Zayn is pinned. It looks like they're setting up for Daniel Bryan versus Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental title, which I really would not take, to be quite honest with you. If anything, I would do Big E versus Sami Zayn in a ladder match for the Intercontinental title, and then I would have Bryan face off against Jey Uso. That way they can continue that storyline with Jey and Bryan going into WrestleMania, which will result in Roman versus Bryan at WrestleMania. Afterwards, all the baby faces beat down the heels. Dolph was embarrassed. Dolph looked like a complete scrub. Saj Khan, how you doing? Please hit the like button. So, who cares? Who cares about that ending segment? It was a very good tag team match, though. We then had Carmella and Sasha Banks. Carmella and Sasha Banks. They had a war of words. So Banks said that Carmella is not woman enough to attack her face-to-face. Cole said that Carmella said that she used to be like Sasha. Sasha said, Carmella wishes she was like me. Sasha said, I am out of your league, Carmella. I am out of your league, Carmella. And you will never be in my league. So Carmella called Sasha jealous. Carmella said everything comes so easy for her because all she needs to do is put in half the work and a lot more comes to her. She says that her SmackDown Women's title reign is longer than all of your title reigns combined. And Carmella says that Sasha is nothing but inferior to her. She's going to prove that she is superior to Sasha in every way. She's going to embarrass her and take her title. Sasha says, you got your match at TLC, and you ain't never been in the ring with a badder bitch like me. This wasn't necessarily a bad promo. It really wasn't. It wasn't necessarily a bad promo. But no matter whether or not the promo wasn't bad, and no matter whether or not Carmella has improved in the ring, which is yet to be seen. It's yet to be seen, to be quite honest with you. No matter whether or not Carmella has improved in the ring, or whether or not she's a decent promo, it still doesn't excuse the fact, and I'm going to continue to say this, Carmella does not deserve a women's title opportunity. It's not that fucking hard to comprehend. How are you going to be off of television for 6 months, then you make your return, and automatically you are thrusted into a world title match? I don't care who you are, whether you're Roman Reigns, whether you're Carmella, whether you're Kushida, whether you're Finn Balor. I don't give a shit whether you're my favorite superstar, Maxwell Jacob Friedman. I don't give a shit. You've done nothing to earn a title match. You don't deserve a fucking title match. It's not that hard to comprehend. And on top of that, how is anyone supposed to take Carmella's words seriously? Nothing that Carmella said had any credibility or accuracy behind it. Nothing that Carmella said was even close to believable. The only thing that Carmella said that was halfway believable was the fact that, yeah, my title reign was longer than your title reigns combined, because that's a fact. Outside of that, nothing that Carmella said was believable. What? Carmella can gain more than Sasha can gain? Carmella, you had one of the worst SmackDown women's title reigns in the history of history. Number one. Number two, you had James Ellsworth helping you every step of the way. You had James Ellsworth help you win Money in the Bank. You had James Ellsworth help you beat Asuka twice. So, explain to me what exactly is there to be jealous of. You were doing fucking dance breaks with R-Truth. What exactly is there to be jealous of when it comes to Carmella? Decent promo, but if anyone even believes one single word that's coming out of Carmella's mouth, you may be mentally challenged. Telling you. Jesse Callan just joined. I've been recording a TV promo for the last hour. Forgot that was today. Don't know how I forgot something like that, but yeah. Come on, Jesse. Come on. So, what did we get after this? We got Murphy versus Baron Corbin. How many of you fell asleep? How many of you fell asleep during this match? I know I was on the verge of falling asleep. I was on the verge of falling asleep, and I'm actually surprised that I made it. I'm really surprised that I made it through this match. Oh my God. Speaking of garbage, like, we can talk about how garbage Baron Corbin is, but I just got a report. I just got a report from Ringside News. This is a live update. This is a live update right here on the Lightning Flash update. I just saw a report from Ringside News. We're going to read this. So Felix Upton from Ringside News reported that Billie Kay is to reveal a mystery tag team partner next week. SmackDown may have a new match for next week with a mystery partner. Billie Kay and Peyton Royce were split up, and it seems like they both have new partners now. Why'd you even fucking split them up? During Talking Smack this week, the Riot Squad were having an interview when Billie Kay came out. Kay doing the usual resume gimmick because she's looking for a place on the Blue brand. The former women's tag team champion offered her services to Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan, but they were not interested. Riott then challenged Billie Kay to a match next week instead, if Kay can find a partner. Billie Kay was a bit reluctant to that match, but she did agree. It appears fans can expect to see an angle play out on SmackDown next week. So, Billie Kay is going to get a new tag team partner. Great. That's one thing that I will not be watching, and I will be probably going downstairs to get myself some pudding with animal crackers for dessert. So, Baron Corbin and Buddy Murphy, who gave a shit? Baron Corbin actually came out with backup. He came out with Wesley Blake and Steve Cutler. Really. Wesley Blake and Steve Cutler. So Murphy was dissected by Corbin early on. Murphy trying to use his quickness. Murphy was sent into the timekeeper's area. Coming back from commercial, we had Corbin with a Cobra Clutch slam. We had some swift strikes by Murphy. Big V trigger. But Corbin then issued Blake and Cutler on the Mysterios. Murphy went after them, and like a dumbass, Murphy was running after them. Murphy caught the end of days, and Corbin won. Who cares? Way to kill Murphy's momentum. Way to kill Murphy's momentum. And on top of that, This is the best that you got for fucking Wesley Blake and Steve Cutler. They were putting on some excellent fucking tag team matches in NXT, and this is what you got for these guys? You fucking serious? My God. I understand taking them off of television because Jackson Riker got himself into a lump of shit because of his political beliefs. Obviously, when you're a public figure, you don't express your political beliefs like that on social media when you work for a big public company like the WWE, no matter what your political beliefs are. But still, this is the best that you got for Wesley Blake and Steve Cutler. How you make them irrelevant as shit, you pair them with Baron Corbin. Street Profits were in the back arguing with Robert Roode and Cesaro. So, here's one thing that I don't understand. Cesaro and Nakamura just lost a fucking tag team match to the Street Profits not that long ago. Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler pinned the Street Profits last week. I don't like when champions are pinned, but by default, that makes Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler the #1 contenders. So, why is Cesaro in there when him and Nakamura lost to the Street Profits a few weeks ago? It doesn't really make too much sense. Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler are your #1 contenders by default. So, main event, we had Kevin Owens and Otis versus Roman Reigns and Jey Uso. So, Roman did not come out initially. And it was essentially a 2-on-1 handicap match. But Roman then ended up coming out. Roman then went right after Otis, bouncing him off the table, the post, and the steps. Roman then used the steps and bashed Otis, and the ref did not call for a DQ. Listen, I am not stupid, so I know what you are doing here, because Roman and Otis are the illegal men, but you didn't even specify that on commentary. If you want to specify on commentary that Roman and Otis are the illegal men, so they're not going to get disqualified, I wouldn't mind that, but you didn't. So what is the casual viewer supposed to think? Why did Roman get disqualified when he came in to put a guillotine on Owens, but he didn't get disqualified when he hit Otis with the steps? Specify why didn't the ref disqualify Roman? Make it make sense. So Otis was fucking destroyed. Roman then was on the offense with his cousin Jey. They were in control before Owens came back with a cannonball. Owens came back with a clothesline and a senton. Owens with a senton drop in front. Or Samoan drop, rather. A Samoan drop, yes. Owens did a Samoan drop in front of Roman. Owens was trying to goat Roman in. Roman got in and he punched Owens. Super kick by Jey. Roman then demanded for Jey to tag him. Owens then fought back with a stunner to Jey. Roman broke it up and locked in the guillotine, and Owens passed out. Afterwards, Jey brought in some chairs. Roman and Jey were beating Owens with the chairs. We had a splash by Uso on the chair. Roman then hit Jey with the steel chair. Looks like those were Jey's consequences. And Roman then held up Kevin Owens and says, "Now you all have my attention. I'm going to take your manhood, your livelihood, and you and your family will fear me." I didn't hear it, Jesse. I didn't. We got 19 thumbs up. Can we get one more thumbs up because the stream's fucking over? Stream's fucking over. The stream is fucking over. So, I'm going to need you guys. There we go. One more. There you go. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We were able to hit 20. We were able to hit 20. So that was SmackDown for you. Owens and Roman is undoubtedly the best thing. The best thing on SmackDown right now. Maybe the best thing in the entire WWE, because Roman is the best thing in WWE right now. But ultimately, outside of Roman and Owens, and then, of course, we got the very good six-man tag. This was not a very good episode of SmackDown Live. Very boring. Indeed, Big Boy Johnny. The Murphy-Baron Corbin match was complete garbage. I did not care for it. Ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up the Lightning Flash update. I'd like to thank each and every single one of you who tuned into this video. I greatly appreciate all of you. I'll be fixing up the description. I'll be putting in the links. I will be putting up some links, obviously. I'll be putting up some links. I'll be putting up some hashtags, some tags. I'll be putting up the thumbnail. I'm not a podcaster, Cool King, but thank you for the support. Thank you very much for the support. I greatly appreciate it. Like, comment, subscribe. Check out all the links in the description after I put it up. Of course, we got TakeOver War Games tomorrow. I will be live tweeting. And, of course, the rewind for TakeOver War Games will be up on Monday afternoon. Of course, if you guys missed the rundown for TakeOver War Games with Matt Moody, the link is in the description. Please go check that out. It is very, 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 very important that you go and check that out. I'm DJ Storms. This has been the Lightning Flash update. You guys have an awesome weekend. I'm going to my grandmother's, and I'm going to have some dinner. Hopefully we got some good stuff over there. What good stuff they got going on? Hopefully some fried chicken. I'm looking for some chicken legs, looking for some chicken wings, looking for some macaroni salad, perhaps. So, you know, grandma's house for dinner. It's going to be a good one. You guys have a great weekend. I'll catch you tomorrow for TakeOver War Games 4.